Good evening, welcome. We're back here again with another presentation in the Issues Room. Volcano Shelton here with you this evening. I will be joined shortly by Moses Sandy, and hopefully we'll have Alphonso coming in the house tonight. But this evening, we're bringing you our 223rd broadcast, and this is a production that comes to you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and on our Issues Room page. We'd like to encourage you to invite others whenever we're here. We come with good conversation. Tonight, we don't have anything so specific to talk about, but just the trending issues evolving in the country. Moses will take the lead on some of those trending issues and we'll delve into the conversation. Of course, one of the core topics here tonight is to talk about the the what you call apology of the AFL wives, the soldiers' wives. They came back to apologize to the people. And we want to analyze the apology and see whether it provides any kind of uh, conclusion to what happened, whether it brings any kind of fulfillment, any kind of satisfaction to what happened, especially to the people who were victimized, the travelers who couldn't get to the airport and had to uh, lose their flight. Some of those folks may end up rescheduling and buying tickets or paying additional. And if they were to return to their jobs, there were delays and just so many things. People who were coming to town, to do commerce, and people who were leaving from town to do commerce, people who were sick and may have wanted to seek medical attention at ELW Hospital or even the 14 military hospital. Those people could not have gotten there. Do we know if anyone died as a result of this kind of stuff that it did? Just talk on the streets, cocaine and having a good time. Because I don't know what type of protest is that when you impede progress of other people. So we'll talk about that. Let me bring in Moses Sandy. Moses is standing by. Moses, welcome to the Issues Room 223rd production here tonight. It's a pleasure seeing you. Good to see you again. I'm hearing that we'll have snow coming in through tonight into the morning, and we'll have 4 to 6 inches of snow. In fact, at my job, all vehicles have been grounded by 8 p.m. tonight into tomorrow, or into Sunday, actually, because I guess it may, snow all through the night and most of the day. But what you hearing from your end weather-wise?
Oh, well, uh, honestly speaking, I didn't monitor a lot, but the weather condition here is not too cold. It's really nice. I had the opportunity of traveling to, I'm sure you will be able to know that Eaglesville in Pennsylvania. I just came back. I saw that some areas were affected by snow. So what you're seeing could be true. I saw snow in some areas. The weather
Yes,
there
the
was a
snow
little
from
bit
the other day is the snow from the other day.
okay.
Those areas you're talking about, they sustain, they keep the cold weather, so the snow
Yeah,
doesn't get melted soon. Like
yeah.
Philadelphia, suburban area where I mean, or city area where a lot of the snows have melted. But yes, and the weather says that it will be snowing through the morning into all day tomorrow.
Wow.
Now, my concern is it going to be sticky? Is it going to be flurries? Is it going to be slushy? I don't know until um, we experience it. While you before you continue in flight, let me just bring in Alfonso quick. Since you,
Sure.
Alfonso, man, what kind of moonlighting you doing here? You dark,
Now, hold on now.
man.
But
Hold
many
on
men
now.
gotta go back to the bro, man.
You know, midnight of
You're talking about light, my man.
Hold on now.
You
If the
saw
light
what
not
is
gonna
happening in
come on,
Monrovia, eh?
only like right now where
I can face the light.
Man, can you imagine, my man,
When
Volcano, the Capitol building, the
why
seat
you
of
need
the
that?
legislature, no light.
and hosted it down. Just say that.
Yeah, my man.
The only place
And
they
get
keep
that man that would they said
the
don't
only place they keep it calling a central bank because they want to put it to the small one from there. And not only that they keep it current there, but they also got soldiers.
Yeah, deploy, yeah.
let me
The
let me
Ministry
fix
of
my light.
Finance.
let me
The
fix my
Ministry of
light.
Finance in darkness. I
Right?
mean,
I,
all the key areas.
my light is so overemphasized there because I
Yeah, it's
see
you look good. Yeah,
yeah, but
your lighting is good.
yeah, it's just overemphasized. But
Yeah.
it could because I'm not using my studio, so like I said, I'm
Okay.
still in this makeshift condition, carrying
Okay.
some random work. But let's
Mm.
let's come back to you quickly while Alfonso adjusts himself. You were
Yeah. I just want us to wrap our heads around some of the things that are coming from Liberia. And let's begin with the president's recent trip to Ghana. President Boakai made a 2 day quote unquote working trip to Ghana, and that was announced by the press secretary. In that press release, it was indicated that while in Ghana, the president was expected to meet with the Ghanaian president, and other officials of the Ghanaian government. He returned to the country. There was media report that while in Ghana, a working visit is quite different from a state visit. A state visit is the head of state, it's official, all the pump and pageantry will be put in place. But a working visit like Volcano, I can say, hey, I will stop by your job today. I may stop by. If you're too engaged, you may not meet with me, but I may be able to talk to one or two persons and come back home. But now, what stood out to me, the president is in the country. And as media people, I want us to wrap our head around this. The presidential press secretary holds weekly news conferences providing updates. And I was shocked when a journalist asked her, hey, President Boakai made a trip to Ghana. He's back in the country. The people of Liberia want to know what was the purpose of the trip and what came from out of that trip. And Volcano, the presidential secretary, said, look, there are more critical things in Liberia, more important things in Liberia that the media should be emphasizing than wanting to know what came from out of the trip. I want to talk to you guys, three of us are media people. What you make of this statement coming from the chief spokesperson for the office of the president?
I'll leave it to Alfonso to start.
I read another newspaper, I think a New Dawn newspaper, where
Oh man, let me tell you something. You take the light, you put it behind
that
your head.
was reported as well. I
Eh?
did not
Alfonso.
listen to the press conference.
Alfonso.
When I finished, I will move the light. I couldn't be
Yeah,
moving around while you're
yeah,
saying
you got to
something.
let
I
behind
was
your head.
thinking
Your
I will
whole
go
face,
off and
man. Go ahead.
Yeah, but go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I will move the light when I go off. But the issue is that the a statement was issued, as you correctly said, Moses, according to the reporting, that the president was going on a working visit. And that on that working visit, he would have met with the president of Ghana. The president of Ghana left Ghana on the same day. So then it should have met with the vice president. And according to
He
the
did.
New Dawn, they talked to people in Ghana, journalists in Ghana who were assigned to the office of the vice president of Ghana, and they said no such meeting happened because if it did, the correspondents in the office of the vice president would have reported on it because they are assigned to the office of the vice president. They said they also talked to other people in Ghana, sources in Ghana, and they said that President Barker actually went. They mentioned the name of the hospital, but I forget. Directly was taken directly to a hospital in Ghana, and then after that he returned. So I mean, at first my thing was everybody should be taking medical attention. We should be happy if our leaders are seeking medical attention. In
You're in
fact,
and there, you're going in and out.
in our we have a culture. Even
Yeah,
those
I
of
think
us from Liberia in
brain.
this country
Yeah.
have a culture of not seeking medical attention. So if somebody is seeking it, it should be a good thing. How was going to meet the president of Ghana? If it was not true that he was going to meet the vice president, if it's true he was going to seek medical attention, and they lied. and say he was going on working visit, then that is dishonest, and that is not correct. You're misleading the Liberian people, and that shouldn't happen. And of course, with the press secretary saying what she said at that press conference, that's horrible. That is horrible. That's again not being terrible. So I hope that's something that will look into and correct.
Yeah,
Alfonso, you got to work on your internet,
So while
and
you're
and
going
yeah.
on, I'm
your,
gonna
His
fix my
internet
mic.
is very bad.
yeah, you keep going in and out. Please try to check on that. Let me put you backstage.
Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead,
so Moses,
Volcano.
when all of this took place and the context on the Hoosier happened, I surmise, I speculated to myself that President Blanca was going on a quick medical run. That's what I thought because the context on the Hoosier flew out of the country. Call his friend and brother, Nana, and say, my man, I'm feeling well. He said, well, let me send the military jet for you quick. Because the military jet is faster, it's quicker. Let's get you out of there. Come check things out, you know, see how you feel. Okay.
Mhm.
So that was my thought. Now, it's still speculation for me because the press secretary uh, did not disclose. She tried to deflect the question and not respond. And now that tells you that this is just the tip of the iceberg. When you are a media person, you have to be skilled, you have to be charismatic, you have to be researched, you have to understand the issue, and you have to understand that when you're deflecting, it must come across as not intentional. That was intentional to say, oh, we got bigger things in the country than to worry about why the president
Yeah.
traveled. You had enough time to say, Mr. President, what should I tell the people? I'm about to go do press briefing. What
And
should
this
I
will
tell?
come up.
If the president said to you, it's your job, you handle it, then you take responsibility on to say, listen, the president went to Ghana. While in Ghana, he had the opportunity to meet XYZ, but he took advantage of doing a quick medical checkup.
Even disregard the medical
Oh, no,
issue.
no, no, because let
Yeah.
me tell you something. You can't hide. We're in the social media age, Moses. People are telling you every day. Needless to say, if you're president, why would Mr. Boaga be going into a hospital? Or why would he be going into a doctor's office? Somebody would tell him. So no need to lie. That's just my thought. He has the right to seek medical attention. He's an aged man. But it doesn't mean that because he seeks medical attention, he's incapable. He's not able to. Even as young as I am, I've been going to the doctor. I had a cancer this morning as a follow up. I just felt it was too much now, man. I just didn't want to eat my eyeball. I said, me chill small, right? But I'm just saying this to tell you that because every 5 minutes we'll see you in 3 months, we'll see you in 2 months. And of course, in his age, they're gonna say we'll see you in 2 months. And I'm sure if he had to do a medical checkup there or just went, they'll say, Mr. President, your next state visit here, or something like that, you can follow up with us. Or if you went to the Ivory Coast, because it's saying his official state visit will be in Abidjan, he may go to Ivory Coast. He can follow up. But there's nothing to be, secret about. We all know you are an aged president, and it's important for you to stay healthy. So seeking medical attention should not be a secret. The Liberian people heard the rhetorics, the Liberian people heard the propaganda of your health, and they still voted you to power. So they have overwhelmingly given you the green light that you can seek medical attention. And so if I were in the press secretary's shoes, I would discuss with the president, how do I approach this? We know that you didn't go and you didn't meet these people, but if it has to do with your medical situation, how do we present it? And if the president said, hey, it's your job, go ahead and do it, we can come from that angle and say, yes, the president did go to Ghana, but as part of his visit, to Ghana. He decided to seek medical attention. So for those of you who want to run with it and put it out there, if you saw him going to a hospital, if you saw him going to a doctor's office, it was just a routine checkup, and be done with it.
Well, I would not want to delve into this whole speculation about a president going to Ghana to seek treatment. But like you said, going to hospital or seeking medical treatment is not a crime. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are bedridden. Like you and I, we go to see our primary providers on a routine basis. It mean that, oh, well, we can no longer afford to even lift our feet. No, that is not an issue. So whatever the stories around that, I don't have the detail.
But I
But
think the crust of what we're talking about is the response of the press secretary.
yes,
And that's what I'm
and
saying. If
yeah,
the speculation has to do with medical attention, and that is why she deflected, because she didn't know how to answer the question or did not have prior conversation with the president and his team and his advisor on how to make that presentation, then this is why the deflection took place.
yeah,
That's
and just to piggyback on what you see in Volcano, the press secretary has to know, and I think I'm told she's a journalist by career. I don't know the level of journalism she did, but in journalism, one of the elements of news is what we call prominence, meaning important people, important places. Mr. Boaka falls in that category. He's the president of Liberia. We want to know what he eats, what he drinks, where he goes, and what he does. So for the press secretary to tell Liberians and the world, especially media personnel, that, oh well, that's some of the thing about you people. There are so many important things happening in the country. I thought we were going to be talking about the 100 days deliverable. Oh, I thought that we'll be talking about what government is doing regarding the issue of addiction in this country. And you come and ask me what was the outcome of the trip, and who did the president meet with? She dropped the ball big time. She messed up. I mean, she just demonstrated her incompetence. That question would have been answered, more.
you got to be strong now. It's not an issue of
I
incompetence.
mean,
No,
honestly
no, no,
speaking,
no,
she dropped
no.
the ball big time. She
Moses,
embarrassed the office of the presidency.
Moses, hold on now, hold on.
Yes.
The word incompetence is a little too strong. You can say or learning on the job. Let's no, I'm being straight honest. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Like
As a young woman,
I
let
said,
me be a little bit euphemistic. Yeah. She
but
dropped
you
the
hear what I
ball.
said, right? Like I said, right? Because we deal with these things all of the time. I will first do consultation.
Of course. Yeah.
Mr. President, the advisors have that conversation with them as
Yeah.
to
What do
how
I
do I
say?
present
Yeah.
to the Liberian people,
Yeah.
and if he says, listen, it's your job, use your discretion. And I know that. And if
Yeah.
I know that the president did go to Ghana and sought medical attention, then I would say, as part of his trip to Ghana, he met so and so, but he also, while there, just
Yeah.
thought to just seek
Any
medical
of us,
attention.
you can travel and say, hey,
Yeah,
let me go see my doctor. What's the problem with
that's
that?
all I'm making. But I wouldn't say quickly she's incompetent. I think it's learning on the job. Because here what it is,
Yeah.
Moses. It's easy to say you are a journalist
Yeah.
until you are faced with these kinds of, because this is a national issue.
It's a very national issue,
Not
very
just
critical.
national, but it's also international in nature.
Of course, yeah. And so she dropped the ball, and she tried to lecture the journalists on what they should be looking for as executive mansion reporters. I was disappointed. I was extremely disappointed, and I hope that Mr. Anthony Kessler, who is now the Deputy Minister of State, the nominated Deputy Minister of State for Press and Public Affairs, our friend and brother Jerolimic Pia and the others, we begin to hold, some behind the scene conversation in terms of how they handle some of these critical issues that are unfolding in the country. Because when the press secretary speaks, the press secretary speaks for the office of the president. That story is taken at a very high level. For her to tell journalists that, oh well, we are not interested in
She
who he
acting like
met with and
she
what came from out of that trip.
she acting like Eddie Darby and Elections Commission. They both say,
She
"Oh,
dropped the ball on that one.
giving cheek to the
So,
to the press."
Alfonso, not Alfonso, of Volcano, you were talking there. Before we move to the next
No, no,
phase, I
but
will also continue with you.
yeah, but yeah. So the point out again, like I said, right?
Yeah,
The thing is, it's a new government. Everybody right now is in what I consider the hot mode. Okay,
yeah,
everybody want to showcase. Everybody wants to showcase. And again, it's a learning on the job. And I think growth will come. What she needs to be careful with is not to be too fast. She needs to be sober when she stands before the media. Now, she's lucky. She doesn't have the old school media practitioners like you, myself, and the rest of the folks here
all those strong boys. Eh?
yeah, of the real practitioners. All of the little cell phone journalists would take that. But when it comes to the real practices, she's gonna be lucky at this point. But
Yeah,
the truth is, she will improve and she will grow. And
yeah.
I'm optimistic. I think
She's
she
a
has.
smart. She's
Yeah,
a
she
smart
has
young woman.
intelligence.
She's a smart young
It's just
woman.
that sometimes
Yeah.
when you're doing
But today she dropped the ball.
when you're doing
She
press
dropped the ball.
conferences, you don't know what you're gonna face.
Yeah.
That is why you must have your armor, your armor on, so that if anything happens, you know how to turn the corner. But
Yeah.
overall, again, we're speculating. No one should hold it here that the president went to Ghana for medical attention. It was presented by our colleague Alfonso, who also heard that was why his trip, one of the importance of his trip there. And like I said, I also surmise from my intelligence that that trip was too quick, too fast. The military jet picking him up, taking him, and then bring him back. So it could be.
Yeah.
But the most important thing I want to close on is that the Liberian people knew that President Bouaga was an aged man. They also knew that his health condition was one of the things that was propagated during the elections. The campaign messages was all about his health, and yet devoted him to power. So he needs to be transparent with the Liberian people when he's seeking medical attention. There's no, I mean, anyone can seek medical attention.
Of course, yeah. No
Anyone
crime
should
about
seek
that.
medical attention. It's important for longevity. It's important to capture some of the things that you can remedy with regards to your health, and there should be no shame about it for our president to seek medical attention. President Biden should seek medical attention because when presidents are in that layer of age, there is a constant need for them to be seen by the doctor. And these last 3 weeks, President Bouaga has understood what the presidency means.
Oh yeah.
The fatigue, the being up at night, the constant interaction, the calls and people, everyone has something to give to come to the president for. The most national issue is the electricity issue.
Of course. That's why Reddit, are making the news now.
Yeah,
I'm sure we saw the videos out
yeah.
there.
All Monrovia just in pitch black dark. So
Hmm.
imagine if it's Monrovia, high about the environs. So people are reverting now to the Charles Taylor time, where everyone had generators and everyone were using generator. At least the improvement of solar panel and solar power, solar energy may increase. But again, this country cannot go anywhere outside of having a provided electricity by the government through the LEC, and to industrialize the country. Otherwise, we're going nowhere.
I mean, yeah, 100% right. Now let's discuss this report that came from the press secretary. It was reported that I think beginning next week, the GSC, the General Auditing Commission, along with executives of the Ministry of State, will begin an audit of the workforce of the Ministry of State. What I surmise is that the workforce of the Ministry of State is bloated. So the GSC is coming in, and she said they encourage everyone to cooperate. So the GSC is coming in, and they will be asking workers, the role they play, the offices they occupy, and they want to know who is who. So you have to come and clearly tell the people, oh, I've been here 5 years, or I will hire in December of 2023, and this is why I earn, and this is what I do. So if they got 10% doing the same job that Volcano does, then the likelihood is that maybe 7 or 8% will have to go. What do you think?
I think it's necessary. Quite frankly, if the statistics or the numbers is true, where the Ellen left civil service at 30,000, we have
1,000, yeah,
gone
may
to
increase it to
70,000.
70, yeah.
That's 40,000 people. 40,000 people. But then also what I heard is that just during the elections, leading up to the elections, many people were hired. If you
Oh yeah, a lot,
vote for me,
a
I'll
lot
give
of
you a job.
people, yeah.
And then with the hope that they were going to win. And so these people are still employed,
Hmm.
but they don't have functions, right?
Nothing, yeah.
So I think that should just be across all sectors. And one of the things that I heard is that the Ministry of Finance, in uh, collaboration with the Civil Service Agency,
Hmm.
decided that there will be no more uh, uh,
Hiring,
hiring. There's a hiring freeze, and there's a transfer freeze rather, and there's a
yeah.
promotion freeze. So it means that no one can get promoted from their current position. No one
No
can,
one can get demoted.
and no, not demoted. No one can
Oh,
get
okay.
promotion.
Oh yeah, promoted. Okay.
Okay, and no one can get transfer. So you can know that when they start, what they call it,
They start the audit.
coming to the auditing Ministry of State, he said, me, I want transfer to Ministry of Health. No, 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 no. Stay here. Let's find out whether you ready to belong here. If you don't belong here, then you don't belong nowhere. So, so that goes into effect because it's one of the ways that they can continue to look at the employment sector and see if many of the thousands and thousands of people who were hired uh, got jobs. And in fact, someone proposed that they should even go back to just before the elections, and those people who were hired just around that time frame up to after the elections, and we are last 2 months, was they should be fired. There's no
Okay.
reason why they
I
should.
mean, yeah. I mean, when he himself announced that there was a freeze on hiring the public sector. So if you hire somebody in December, that means that you violated the very,
Yeah,
declaration that you made.
yeah.
Those people should be let go. And it's also my understanding that the EPS, has 500 men. That's the Executive Protection Services. And again, it was reported that authorities of the EPS intend to reduce that number significantly. Uh, Alfonso, maybe you want to come in.
I think the idea of reducing staffing, I mean, we all know that there were a lot of people that were hired. In fact, some people were elevated, some people's salaries were adjusted higher out of that before the previous government left place. And if that is left in place, is going to hamper any progress at all by this administration. So they have to streamline. I think one of the other points that President Barker made in his State of the Nation address is that the public service takes up more than 70% of the national budget.
Hmm.
So therefore, nothing's left to do anything in terms of services to the people. Once you finish paying people,
It
Then
broke.
you can't invest in roads, you can't invest in water, you can't invest in agriculture, you can't invest in education. So that's why all of those sectors are crumbling. So yeah, that is not a workable, a viable approach to have to hire everybody. Um, that's why we always have budget shuffles. As a matter of fact, I think I don't remember the figures, but between 2018 to when we are left office, when we are in office, when we are left office, the civil service, government bureaucracy have grown more than 45 to 50%. That's insane. You can't really run a government like that. They should have focused
Yeah.
on attracting investment, building the
Yeah.
private sector, encouraging investment and building the private sector instead of thinking that somehow the government would just hire everybody in the country, especially people from their own parties who are not even working. Look at what happened at NPA, where they had all of these musicians and everybody on as a what
On the
was the
payroll.
consultants making
Yeah,
four
so
hundred
those
and fifty
guys, for
dollars.
those guys were making good salaries, and think about all that campaign song they were making. They were already being paid.
Yes, they were
Yeah, I
being
think they
paid by
said
the
they had
government.
someone on the Ministry of Information payroll too, right, Volcano?
Yeah, they were
I
all.
heard that. Yeah, so they were on the payroll of the Ministry of
Yeah,
Information.
exactly. And I have
Yeah,
people on payroll who are no show, not going to work but receiving pay, all of it in education, ministry, and everywhere. So, I mean, something definitely needs to be done about that, or else this government will not even be able to make payroll.
at Volcano, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the scary thing here is that based on this circumstance, then the potential to hire new skill set, new competencies, new qualified, it makes it difficult.
Of course.
That is why I think the hiring freeze, the non-transferable of an employee, and no promotion is the way to stop. And let's
Look
examine
at
the
what
whole
you have
system,
right now.
overhaul, and see who's where. So we can, if you can cut it down to 40,000, and you're able to bring another 10,000 of good qualified Liberians, then you made progress. People who would come and serve. Then you have people just walking around with slipper, dragging all over the. I mean, you go to some of the ministry, just in slipper, just passing around, swat, 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 all over the place.
You got you
Um,
got
um,
two chairs in the office. You got more than 10 employees. Eh?
yeah, they just stay lingering around for nothing. And
If
everybody
Obian
there, they're
if
acting like they're
Obian
giving
said
you.
that, so the jail walking around.
But man, when you walk in, they come at you just like vultures. They won't grab your paper. They won't carry it. Acting like they're taking control. But that $20 you will give that they won't live full money for the day. And it's just unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. But I just wanted to throw that
Yeah,
it has to happen for newer and fresher, good qualified, competent people to come on board.
yeah.
Because you
They
can't
gotta
bring,
do some,
yeah, you can't bring.
house cleaning.
I'm coming. You can't bring 10,000 new people who are qualified, who are competent, who are experienced on board, and you don't clean house, then you'll be adding 80,000 and then
Yeah,
90,000 and then
yeah.
100,000. So
Photo pay them.
then just say the government of Liberia is a payroll government. That's all it can be.
Because that's the only thing you do is generate money
To
and
pay.
you just pay people. In fact, are you talking about the government being unable to pay its workforce? I watched the newly appointed city mayor confirmation hearing today, and he reported to this Senate Standing Committee on Internal Affairs that just from a review of records at the Monrovia City Corporation, they discovered that Mr. Jefferson Koji administration increased the workforce by 67%. When he went, the workforce, the percentage wise was at 33%. He added 67%. Okay. So when he did that,
He increased it to 67%. So if it
yeah.
was 30 some more, he added almost 40%.
No,
Close though.
oh,
Yeah,
no, he no, He
Say what you said.
added additional 67% onto what? Making the 100%. That's what the guy was saying.
Oh, okay,
He
okay,
made 33
okay.
and he
So that is
recruited
67.
67%.
Okay, so okay.
Okay. So
Did
the city mayor,
he say even for percentage? Did he say how many employees were 33% and 67 to?
oh, he didn't break it down. He didn't break it down.
And that's
But
what I mean. These are
this is what he
I'm coming,
said.
Moses. I'm coming quick.
Mhm, mhm.
These are the kinds of questions that when you sit down there as a lawmaker,
Yeah,
you
you
should
should
ask.
ask. Yeah,
Don't just take percentage because
yeah,
percentage is just a percent. It could be 3 employees
yeah.
that
I
were paying
agree. I
33,
agree.
and then you brought 7 that made it 100%, and it is
Yeah,
10 employees, right,
yeah.
Alfonso?
You're absolutely right. I
Listen,
agree
so
with you on that.
You're
tell me,
right, but
yeah,
even you're right, and
so stop
even
saying
100%
percentage. Tell me, listen,
doesn't make it
we had
wrong.
300 employees. The man brought 700 is now 1,000.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Moses.
I mean, I agree with you. So this is why he said, for 2023, the income generated by the MCC was a little over $900,000. The
2020,
workforce,
2023.
yeah, 2023, in terms of income generation, was a little over $900,000.
Okay.
Okay, to maintain the salary of the MCC, it is over $1 million. So basically, the money that the MCC generated was inadequate to even pay its employees.
Yes, yes, and a valitala now. The valitala there.
Yeah.
The major hire a whole lot of thugs. So I want to begin walking in the street, see the boss
So
and
now
believe.
you tell me now, Volcano, how do you handle that? You recruited more than you can afford to pay.
But okay, so I'm thinking here the close to $1 million
Yeah.
was the monies that the MCC generated from
Yeah,
taxes,
generator. Yeah.
from businesses, and all of that.
Yeah.
But then what is the government subsidy to the
So
Monrovian?
that's the government subsidy now. They were dipping into it, adding it on and paying their employees.
Yeah.
But the MCC should be able to generate income,
Yes, it's a function of
to manage itself.
it's a function of government.
Yeah.
So if they raise $900,000
In a whole year.
in a whole year, which is
Less than 1 million, my man.
$900,000 in the whole year, because the Monrovia City Corporation has the authority to collect taxes.
Oh yeah, the guy,
All the
Oh, yeah.
like the parking fees and
They-
all of that.
Parking
They
fees.
collect parking fees, but they also collect taxes from businesses in
Of
the
course.
city. They have the
Businesses are
authority
registered in Monrovia, they
register
pay
in
taxes.
Monrovia, pay taxes to them and all of
Yeah.
that. So so to say that it even collected only $900,000 in a whole year, I kind of
That's what they
dispute
reported.
that. But that's what they reported. Maybe they were
Mhm.
going to those business people and taking money and not
Yeah, that's
reporting.
what they reported.
That's the first thing. But if your
That's-
salary alone is $1
It's more
million,
than 1 million a year.
and you can't even measure, you can't even pay your salary. How about the operational cost? What does that
Yeah,
come
to
from? The
run the
cars you drive,
vehicles,
the
you know.
gasoline you put in the vehicles, the light,
Yeah,
the
the
electricity in the place,
computers and
the
all of that.
cleaning. How
How do you
does
do
all
that?
of that even happen? So that's definite. But
But
when
it's
Koji
not
was
Alfonso, when you talk of original cost, then how about projects?
Oh no,
exactly,
Volcano, don't try about it.
because
I mean,
because
they got money for operational cost. They use
because,
the
you
project.
can't do project.
because projects would be cleaning the city, project would
Yeah,
be beautification,
Yeah, you
yeah,
can do
all of
anything.
the things. That's why my rivers just look like a deadville,
Yeah, you can do
deadville.
absolutely.
anything.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I think Jefferson Koji needs to stand trial, and when I say trial, I mean audit trial.
Of course, he
Because
has to be audited. He
yeah,
has to be
because
audited.
the kid ran the place like a gangster paradise. There was nothing robust about Monrovia City Corporation. There was nothing that did. It was manifested in the in actions. The fact that they couldn't even keep that small environs clean. Monrovia is a small place, very very small place. Monrovia is the size of Derby around here, probably, or a little bigger than Derby. But to say that you couldn't even keep it clean, and then you go and bloat the payroll
Workforce,
of
yeah.
33% with an increase of additional 67%.
Percent.
That is preposterous. And again, like I said, I would have asked about the numbers,
The numbers, yeah. So how much,
percentages.
how many persons we're talking about right now,
Yeah.
or people. But the guys didn't do that.
And
And
one
and
other thing I would have asked you, now that you've inherited the situation, what's the way forward, Mr. New Mayor, or to be mayor, since he was being questioned?
say,
Yeah,
yeah, he was.
information.
Well, I heard he said that they're going to do, like what out of the officials that are coming in. He said they're going to audit the system. They're going to do a system review to understand what they are taking over, what they met, and find a way forward. So I even heard the Minister of Commerce say the same thing today. He said what his administration is going to do is to institute an audit. So this thing, yeah, about audit, Volcano, this is very serious. Are all government agencies, are all government ministry. Mr. Mudar said that he wants an audit. He wants to know what he inherited, what he has, and how to move the ministry forward. And that makes a lot of sense. So if the MCC is calling for audit, the finance ministry, they say, no, my man, right now we got a freeze on everything. You want transfer? No, BAA. And our Ministry of State said, no, we want to know the white folks who is actually here and who is staying at home and getting paid. So it's across the entire system. That's what you guys are doing. And I think that's
And
laudable.
all of this is predicated on the fact that these guys, the previous government and the lieutenants in that government came to steal.
Uh,
And
Obviously, they stole. The people stole from Nigeria,
there's
man.
no way that they can fix it. There's
The
no
people
way
stole.
that they could cover it. In fact, yeah, Christopher Wesley is saying that it's just not the Monrovia City Corporation. How about the Pinsville City Corporation? Of course,
Of
but
course,
we
yeah.
haven't had a mayor appointed yet. I hope the public call me, man. Let me go take over my city, man. Yeah, man. I tell
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
man.
want to take MCC, my man? I
Understand
mean, Pinsville City Corporation?
what local government mean. That's on fine. Or it would be LMP. Will have the Pinsville City Police. I would bring a
Oh, yeah,
functioning
you can do it. Yeah.
government.
Yeah, you seek
Functioning government.
funding, you can do it.
Shoot. But anyway, but I think yeah, is the truth here that all of the sectors need to be overhauled. And
Yeah.
the fear here when they hear the word audit, it sounds like
Yeah.
witch hunt. But I don't know what other word you can use. I don't know because to audit me, I'm going to check here to see if everything makes sense. That's
Yeah.
all it's about. And what doesn't make sense, let's fix it.
Yeah. It's
So
appraiser.
yeah,
System appraiser. Yeah.
performance appraisal,
Yeah.
system appraisal.
Yeah.
There is a form
What
of
is working, what is not
yeah,
working, what need to be worked on, and it said that we got more people than we actually need. It said that we're spending a lot of money on food than actually, attending to the needs of the people. That's the kind of appraisal you want to
and
do.
Moses, any functioning institution in the council, you're doing audit when you're planning your budget. Yeah,
Of course, yeah.
it's a form of audit. You
Mhm.
must do audit to plan your budget. Yeah,
Yeah.
to take stock of where you were and where you want to go and where you
Mhm.
are.
Yeah.
Because you cannot
Yeah.
inflate the budget or you cannot increase the budget if you didn't do, audit. You can
Well,
just
yeah,
tell your
you
budget,
got to.
send it to the legislature and did assess how much you put in there for me. Oh my own, okay, that's sound. You got all the man what doing. Come here, Alfonso.
Yeah. So audit, and you guys are correct. Audit is not just in terms of did somebody steal money and did somebody not steal
Oh,
money. Yeah, I mean that's operational audit. There's
mhm.
you audit your staff to see this performance audit to see whether the goals that you set from the beginning you've accomplished those goals or not, and if you haven't, why didn't you accomplish those goals? That's an audit.
That's an audit.
Do you have Do you have a bloated bureaucracy, or do you have more employees? So when you hear they say this company is laying off XYZ people, they're cutting staff, they're doing this, it's all based upon, as you both said, it's all based upon what they have done
Yes.
as a result, what they have found as a result of the audit.
Mhm.
Are we measuring up with this number of people we have on staff versus the money that we're earning? Will we be profitable if we keep this number of people? Can we retrench people as to accomplish X, Y,
Yeah.
Z stuff? So that's one of the focuses of the audits that will happen. And President Boakai did announce that in his State of the Nation. In the statement when he announced those three agencies of government to be audited, that that's just the beginning of
Yeah,
the
the
process
NSA.
of auditing all of the government agencies. 'Cause much of what those guys did was a lot of the people that put on payroll didn't even go through the civil service agency. They just brought them into the various agencies where they were and just put them on payroll through whatever services. Take the city mayor, for instance. He was actually sent over there to use the Monrovia City Corporation to get those thugs, as Moses
Yeah, yeah,
usually
those
refers
CDC
to them,
talks,
and
recruited.
yeah, on their side to be
Hmm.
give them jobs and give them money so they will continue to do the dirty work, not to do the work of the MCC. So yes, all of those things need to be audited. People need to be held accountable. That will be the only way that our country will move forward. If without that, it's just a waste of time. And if these people come and repeat what happened in the past, we all need to make noise so that they also hold their feet to the fire, because we all want Liberia to move forward, so some of us can go back and live peacefully.
Yeah, and you know how they used to pay some of those guys Volcano? They have what they call supplemental payroll.
Mhm.
That's the kind of payroll that doesn't go through the civil service agency. These individuals are paid, by they have special budgetary allocation managed by few people that hey, we have 100%. These people are not on the main payroll and they how to pay them. So in that process, a lot of things can happen. If a secretary is supposed to make say $25 a month and Volcano is managing that, that supplemental payroll, they can put Moses Sandy there instead of making $10 a month, and Moses Sandy can be getting $5 when in fact the man is taking $10. The man who is managing that supplemental payroll. All Moses Sandy wants is his regular $5 every month. When you go through the civil service,
And especially
then
if
it's
Moses ain't working
screening.
for it, if Moses ain't working for it, what
Oh,
big deal?
Exactly. Two things. One, Moses is not doing job for it, so he
no,
appreciates
but
it. Two,
if you say you pay
Moses
Moses, then you
want
must pay Moses fairly, my man.
Moses want his ID card so he can use the ID card to go in the community and credit for no
Is
money.
that working?
And
I'm a police officer, eh?
No, the message, your ID card, you use it to go to go credit.
Yeah.
yeah,
They put them believe that you ready working.
You go to the
yeah.
floor there,
So
you
you
say,
see,
my man,
I
just give
work
me
for MCC.
give me
Credit me,
three
I'll
cup
pay
of
you when
rice,
I
my
pay
man.
for.
I'm an ID card, yeah. I'm working out the executive mansion. Yeah, go ahead, forget it. I know you wanted to talk about those ladies.
Yeah. So the other thing we want to talk about is what happened the other day with regards to the, I'll call it so-called protest, because I don't know how much you're gonna get. President Barker did what a president should do, a peaceful president who has just inherited so much, by meeting with them. He didn't dismiss them.
No.
He didn't send the troops to move them. Uh, he allowed them to vent, and then he brought them over. And apparently, they themselves knew that what they've done was out of line, and especially the timing. Sometimes it's about timing, and it's unfortunate that oftentimes the people who plan these things do not look at the unintended consequences, the long-term ramifications, and again the timing. So let's hear from them when they came to show contrition for what they did. But in the same token, we can analyze because I was on the edge when I saw that. It didn't help me. It did. If I were the one who was trying to get to the airport that Sunday or that Monday, and my flight had to be canceled
And
by
you had to
by
pay extra
by
money.
by their inconvenience, you know, and I had to pay additional or just didn't get to my flight. Then if to find another flight would take me a day or two or a week, then my job is in jeopardy. They don't even know it. I also mentioned if someone was sick and was trying to get to ERW hospital or to JFK, whatever it is, they deprive that person from getting to
Wow.
the hospital. Vice versa.
Yeah.
So let's hear from them quickly and then we'll come
Mhm.
back.
Process. Because in this manner, when the army are at peace, the nation is at peace. But when the army is not at peace, the nation is not at peace. So we did it for our husbands. We want to take it down to the people, to the public, those that were traveling and they didn't travel that day, we tell them sorry. It was not right, but we were listening to, we wanted to hear from the people, we wanted people to seek our interest, we wanted people to give us hearing ear, and they didn't give us it. Now why we decided to do that for the nation for the world to pay attention to us and for our president to listen to us. We want to take the time to tell our president if they are extremely well by listening to us and by listening to us well. So we take this time to thank you people. Was that intentional? No, it was not intentional. We need to be intentional because from the beginning, we carry our petition all around. We wanted the Senate to listen to us. We prepare first to the president, and we brought it to the course of Senate to listen to us. But they didn't listen to us. They didn't carry it that far by doing what they did. It was not right for us. It was not right for our husbands. So we decided to do what we did for the attention to use up for them to solve our problem. But we tell the president, thank you, His Excellency, Ambassador Joseph Lima Bakai, for listening to his soldiers. Spokesperson, yesterday your action.
Let me pause there and come to this woman first. It was not intentional.
Man.
How will you gather cool pot, cassava leaf, uh, cool bag of rice, 4 gallon of water, block the road, you're there cooking, you're there drinking beer, and you say it's not intentional.
It's not intentional.
It was intentional because it was concocted,
It was well
and
planned.
it was organized, it was not spontaneous, it didn't come from one location, it went across the country. Gentlemen,
Yeah. But look, Volcano, this is where sometimes again we talk about the decline in Liberian journalism. The journalists instead will ask that question.
come back to it. I just want to move it off the screen.
Yeah, what I was saying, this is where sometimes we have problem with our colleagues in the media. The journalists will ask the question whether the action of the women was intentional. It means that that journalist did not know what really happened in the country. The people barricaded roads. The people made a demand that Prince Johnson must go. And you ask the same woman whether their action was intentional. Of course it was. Had it not been intentional, they would not have assembled at various location, carry all the cooking utensils. I mean, they carry all the utensils well ready. Some of them were even are sitting on top of vehicles. That wasn't a mistake.
And people holding what you call play talk
Yeah, guns
symbols of
there,
gun.
so it was intentional.
Wooden, I meant to say wooden symbols of
Yeah,
gun.
yeah, it was Volcano. And Alfonso, maybe you want to say something on that. Liberian
Yeah, no,
journalism, man.
I don't think there's any question about the fact that what they did was intentional. The plan to disrupt. I think if you listen to the woman in that very statement, keenly, you will
Was put in
hear
the air.
that it was. She said it. She said we're playing intentional. People, They did it so people can listen to them because they
No,
went
no,
to
no.
the
She
house.
said no. No, she said it was not intentional, but we did it because we wanted to
Yeah,
put demand on. So it
exactly.
was
So
intentional.
so you had an intent right there. You did it to accomplish an aim, which is an
Yeah, him,
intent.
yeah.
So
So it
so
was
definitely there
intention.
was intention right there. So right in that statement she made, even though she said we're not intentional, in that very statement she expressed intent. So it was intentional. They intended to disrupt, to create disruption and chaos, to force people to accede to their demands. That's all it was.
And that
So
was the complaint.
yeah, and it was intentional. Well, the president said that he met with them and had told them that he would address some of their demands, but would not agree to fire the defense minister. But they insisted on that and
And
went on and caused it.
this was on Sunday.
Yeah,
This meeting was on Sunday, and
On
so oh,
Sunday, yeah.
yeah,
On
yeah,
Monday,
when they
they set
came
up
back, guys,
roadblock.
okay,
they still went back and caused the
on Monday,
disruption. But
yeah.
again, yeah, sorry. But again, as President Boyka said, and as I've also heard, and that was also kind of built into President Boyka's address to the nation regarding the incident, that there was some AFL soldiers, some soldiers who were trained with that whole batch, the new group of trained soldiers, who committed several offenses and were discharged from the army by Prince Johnson, General Johnson. President Weah, is my understanding, went ahead and reinstated those people in the military. And those people were the ones who planned or orchestrated that disturbance.
He shouldn't be
And
okay.
so that is the reason why in President Boyka's statement, he specifically mentioned that he set up a committee and the committee will investigate and expunge some of those bad apples who were reinstated in the military and stuff. And that's the reason why he made that, included that statement in his address to the nation. So we'll see a lot of things will unfold as that committee submits his report. I don't remember. He gave them a time frame. I don't remember
2 weeks.
exactly
I think he said,
how much
I
time he
think
gave
a
them.
report was to be submitted shortly.
Yeah, 2 weeks, I think.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
let's come back. Let's
Yeah.
come back to the
Yeah.
table here. So many reports are being done, and I will
Yeah.
hope that by March, some of these reports will be delivered. We're still waiting to hear from the inaugural money.
Committee. Yeah.
We're still waiting to hear from most of the other audits.
Mhm.
And here now, military investigation is being
Yeah.
conducted. So we don't want to just keep having report with no logical conclusion. Like, yeah, man, we are. I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I am concerned,
And no,
and
you're
I'm
right.
sure
But
a lot of people are concerned.
no, you're right. But for the audit, though, for the audit of the three agencies, he did give them, I believe, 3 months within which to conduct and submit the audits. So hopefully they won't wait for 3 months before they submit the audit. Maybe they will finish it before the 3 month time frame. But but uh, he gave them 3 months, and I believe for the AFL people, I think he might have given them what 2 3 weeks or whatever the case may be. So let's hope let's of course we have to continue to exert pressure on them, but let's hope that at that time period when the reports come out, it's not going to be like the $25 million and the $16 billion report that was put on President Ria's desk and nothing happens, even though the reports clearly said that millions of dollars got stolen in the process. The people say we gave Susan and so money to XYZ business. When the auditors go to look for the business never existed, was never registered, never mentioned in the business registry. So they took the money and put it in a pocket and just gave bogus names. Uh, some of the businesses that existed, auditors go to them and say, nope, nobody came to us and gave us money here. That we ain't get no receipt. Let them bring a receipt. No documentation exists, and nothing happened. President Weah did nothing. So we can only hope that President Barker would do differently when those
Let
reports
me
come
just
to
add this part what you said that if the army is not at peace, the country will not be at peace. Um,
exactly.
I'm kind of like frowned on that. I'm frowned on that for the mere fact that what has our army really done? This army, because the normal town army, they had engineering department, they were helping to do roads, they had agriculture unit, they had civil engineering, they were doing other things. There other army here that is sitting down in our barrack, they got roof over their head, they're not paying bills, they're not paying rent. You understand me? The
Hmm.
nurses then gotta go hustle to pay rent because they ain't got barracks to be in. The teachers gotta pay rent, they ain't got barracks to be in. Many of the other civil servants don't have barracks to be in. Civil servants owing the landlords for months and they stay begging, the begging, hey, you pay us yet. All of those things. Let me mute this small. I'm hearing echo. All of those things. What army should be at peace for our nation to be at peace? This army, the 2,000 man army, should be at peace for our nation to be at peace.
Man, don't disclose our strength. Oh.
No, it's all on the internet. I'm just saying. I'm concerned
And,
to make
yeah,
that statement because apparently these are the things that were being said behind the scene. So when people start to mention mutiny, this manifests that. But that
of course,
statement that if our army is not at peace, then the country will not be at peace.
peace, yeah.
That's a statement that's a
Should
must.
not be coming from, a representative of the women,
Yeah.
you know, because look, those people were tutored on what to say. That's where the whole statement regarding mutiny comes in. How
Sorry,
you think they were
hold on.
transported from one
Sorry,
location to another?
we're not using those professional division of the army. My man, they army right now. I don't know if they have engineering department. I don't
No, they
know.
don't.
I don't know.
No agriculture, agriculture battalion, all of that.
Because
Everything's zero, my man.
the new army came. He said I should bring it on. Okay, I'll send you the link. I'll send you the
Okay.
link, man. I'll send you the link right now. The new army was more of structuring a military. So most of the guys who were in the army, they more or less young boys who came maybe out of high school, few of them of course college background, but I don't think the army is designed now with all of the different functionaries like the pre-war army.
I mean, the military of today, in terms of strength, in terms of equipment, I may be wrong, but I don't think it is comparable to what we had in pre-war Liberia. I don't
No,
know.
you're
We
not
cannot.
wrong.
I mean, Alfonso, what do you think?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Again, there was attrition. Even after the 2,000 men were trained, there was attrition. So there were people who left. There were some people who were removed from the army.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that they even at a 3,000 men, at 2,000, still at a 2,000 men force at this point. But the fact of the matter is that, I mean, some of us have argued in the past that we don't really even need a standing army. But that's neither here nor there. I don't want to delve into that right now. But the fact of the matter is that you're right. Our military should not, given the history we've had in our country with the military, from the 1800s to the 1900s to the 1980s, when the military has been this abusive and suppressive force. It's been a force that's been used by politicians to suppress people. In the 1800s and the 1900s, locals used to be sent around the country to go force people to pay taxes, beat people up, rape women, etc. In the 1980s, we saw the military also being brutal and repressive against the people. And so, with the history we have in the military, when somebody makes that kind of statement, that when the army is not happy, then the country will not be at peace.
A female
That's
too.
that's a dangerous statement
Very
coming from
dangerous.
that bad, terrible, past, historical past, and
Hmm.
these people still have that same mentality that somehow they will terrorize the country if we don't accede to their demands, and that is wrong, and that needs to be addressed. We need to build an army, and Volcano, you made that point, that is professional and service oriented. We're not going to war with any country anytime soon. So we don't need an army that is just trained to fight war. We need an army that can clean our waters in Monrovia so we don't have mosquito killing people. The engineering battalion can do that. The reason why Claratown and Logantown, all those places are mosquito dens is because water's sitting there and the waters are dirty. The engineering battalion can help us to address that problem. Sonny Wayne will help us address that problem. They can help to build roads, so we don't have to hire additional people to build roads. We can only just have we can attach them to the engineers, to the contractors to help build roads and keep our roads and bridges, functional and up to par. We need a professional army that will render services to the people, not just people sitting down waiting for pay and waiting for war to happen. War is not going to happen anytime
or
soon.
threatening
And
war. Let me bring in
threatening
some
people when they don't
So,
care what they do.
how are you, South?
Good evening, Mr. President Emeritus and veteran
Evening.
Volcano and Alphonso. Good to see you guys, and I hope you guys are getting me clearly.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
are.
we
Yeah, I'm
are.
happy to be
Welcome to
joining
the
you
Issues Room,
from the Minneapolis
South.
area here in Minnesota. And
Mm.
but let me firstly begin by condemning the acts of the quote unquote military wives. We saw these things happening uh, during Madame Salih's regime, during President Weah's regime, but then they were corn under the name,
Widows.
military widows of ex soldiers or whatever that is. We saw what happened, what the Salih government had to deal with, and what the Weah government had to deal with. Now is corn on a different name. Like you all put it, this was well orchestrated, and that's what I think. This was one of the biggest mistake in the first month of the broadcast administration, buying to the politics of these people. It was not something that, like you said, that just happened overnight. Oh, they just woke up that armed forces morning and met this all over the place. No, there were signs. There were ways that the national security advisors of the president and other security leaders in the country who have handled this better than allowing it to go into the day of the armed forces canceling a major historic holiday on our constitution. We saw the vice president making his way to fly on his private jet. He was held for over 20 minutes because they could not allow him to use the RIA road. He got down, called the police director, they went there, whatever they talked, he was on his way and left the country into what it was. So it is a big mistake on the part of the National Security Advisor and those advising the president on security. They have tested the broadcast resolve. They know that. What we could probably see the immigration wives coming up tomorrow, the police wives. You know, Anybody could come out and say this because these people have done something, have triggered this government into making your defense minister in under a week, who was confirmed to resign. Why couldn't you have negotiated and get these people back into the barracks or wherever they were from? Did you investigate whether their claim that they were army wives? Whether these claims are true, Mr. Sunday? You and I know very well that when any protest spark up in Liberia, there are people that come from anywhere and just join the fray.
Of course, that's
There
not
are
true.
blessed, blessed people who's this job. See the attitude they exhibited in the streets.
So
It
the
was
people
wrong.
cooking the Saudi and Pampada
Yeah, it was
No,
wrong.
of course,
And
that.
you never had a system or advisors to the president. He met with these people prior
on the
to the armed
Sunday.
forces day.
Yeah.
What were the discussions? Their demands. Their demand was
Yeah.
so tough to have your most one of your most trained, resign his job. Be like Prince Charles Johnson or you don't. He's a trained professional. Some of these things they raise, there are problems with the army, but it's not just about Prince Johnson. It's about the 103 people sitting on Capitol Hills who are not putting money in the budget to better the lives of Liberians in every sector, not just the army. If our police officers are still making less than $150 and you are assigning them from Monrovia into Nimba after graduation, they just go turn around, come right back to radar and they're collecting $5 and $10. Because you cannot take somebody from Monrovia, send it to Nimba on assignment, and you're giving them $150 when their kids are in Monrovia to go to school. They got their families to take care of. Least to say. Every sector has been affected, but the ability to negotiate and make sure that things don't spill into the wrong direction is what the Barker government allowed to the people to just misuse their weakness. Just before I go, I covered the executive mansion of President Salif. One day when we went for regular press briefing, we were in the president's conference room waiting Madam Salif to come out. And then Presidential Press Secretary Cyrus Biden walked into the room and said, "Gentlemen, Madam is going downstairs to meet the protesters." They were protesters from students from the University of Liberia demanding the resignation of how you call him, Dr. R. Hassan Conte, as president of the UL. But then Amos Tubo was the head of the University of Liberia Student Union. We came downstairs with Madam, but then her office at the foreign ministry. And whatever Madam said, you call for those leaders. Why are leaders, man? They went upstairs to her office. What was said? Those guys came downstairs. Their protests were called off. They made demands. She started to work on their demands. Madam Sali did not just go ahead right away and fire Dr. Conte. She started to work on what they wanted. When the noise ceased down, Dr. Conte was relieved of his post sent to Nigeria as ambassador. Dr. Dennis came in as president of the UN. And what was Madam Salif's observation? That there were students at the UL who have 2, 3 credits on the books. They don't want to graduate. They want to be there in Kaki under the Palawa Hut. And you know what was mandated to that, Dennis? When you take over, graduate everybody. It was the first year that people graduated were all doing their few 2, 3 credits, and those are not important credits.
They
French,
gotta go.
PE, they keep them on the books. Dr. Dennis graduated all of them and started to clean the system. So your ability to negotiate, and that's the same misstep George Weah had when he took over when the students protested. He was, "Oh, Mr. President, don't get on. They just want you to talk to them and see what you can assure them." And he sat in his vehicle. He missed that opportunity. Everybody felt you hated the students. No matter what you did, you brought tuition-free university, whether it was sustainable or not. Today, this government is yet to pick up from there. So the advisors will need to advise our leader, Mr. President, this is the way to go. Negotiate in the interest of your people. You cannot call out a whole national event because army women or army men, wives in the street saying that if there is no this, we can do that.
Can
But
do
to my
that.
point, I said you are not using the professionals in the army. Who built the 14 military hospital? It was those army people. If you been to Monrovia recently, shelter from EAW Junction all the way up to Cinco, all the sidewall you see rebuilt, the military did that. You could see Prince Johnson and his boys in the street on some Saturdays cleaning up, reconditioning those highways. And I can remember I interviewed Prince before, and what he said, they are not giving us. If lawmakers got their own construction companies, why can't you take that money, give it to the soldiers? There were doctors in the army that were taking care of people at 14 when they opened during COVID. Those professionals were being used, but you just take them to sit there. You got people who do farming. Agriculturalists are in the army. Are you providing the tools and making them to go to work so they don't have to go and fight war? So that's why I said, no, you're not using the professionals. They are there, but they are not being used. Lawmakers taking money, opening their own construction company, are taking contracts, they're not fulfilling those contracts. If you take the monies, put it into those professionals in the army, you will get a result. They are there, but they are not being used. So we can't just bash them that you're just sitting in the bar. No. Give them the job, put them to work, spend the money, put in the budget, go after it.
Mr.
They will
Mr.
do it.
McGee, if I may come in real quickly. So the two issues here that I want to take up issue with you on. First of all, you're insinuating that President Barkai did not negotiate with them. But it's a fact that he did negotiate with them. He
Yeah,
negotiated with them.
Yeah, need to close some mic. Go
He
ahead, Alphonso.
met
Go
with
ahead.
them on Sunday and listened to their demands. Among the demands was that he should fire the Minister of Defense. They also
Go ahead.
I don't think I'm hearing you.
Did I hear him?
Yeah, he wasn't hearing me. I was muted.
Are
You
you
hear me
hearing him?
now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, sir.
Yeah. So President Boakai and his advisors and his staff did negotiate. And in fact, if you listen to his address to the nation, he did mention that he met with them on that Sunday prior to the Monday when they got on the street. They came with a list of demands. Among those demands was the firing of the defense minister. They also said that the school in the barracks, they were paying high tuition for their kids. They also talk about the living conditions, what they're living in one bedroom with an entire family, etc. A number of demands were put on the table. The president agreed to meet all of those living conditions demands, including salaries. The only thing he told them he could not meet was firing the defense minister. He was not prepared to fire the defense minister because he felt the defense minister was a fine defense minister and he felt that that was not the way to go. So I just want to address that point that Ellen
But
negotiated.
he was ready to accept his resignation, right? And
No,
those the
no,
resignation
hold
did
on.
not just
Yeah,
come out
hold
of
on,
the
Mr.
blue sky.
McGee. So I wanted to address the point that he did not negotiate, that he should have negotiated with them. You insinuated that. Saying it's factual that he negotiated with them.
Then how did it end
Yes,
up back in the street with it if the negotiation
they
was good
refused.
enough?
So they refused. That conversation was held on Sunday. They left. When they left, they agreed. When they went back, they decided Sunday night, Monday morning, perhaps to get in the street. But that doesn't mean that he did not negotiate with them. He did negotiate with them.
Which means it
I
didn't work.
hope it you,
Which
and
which
you
which which,
don't have to take it from me.
which means
But
which
the
means
But
fact that negotiation did not
Cyrus,
work
Cyrus,
doesn't mean that it didn't take place.
negotiations don't always have fair
We
settlement.
have several. We That's why we have 15 years of civil war. We always had negotiations. Does that mean
And they're
that those
going to peace
negotiations did not
accords.
happen?
So you can
They
negotiate,
happened.
but then
Yeah.
if people feel
That
aggrieved
there were
that
people
the
who agreed
negotiation
and
is
signed peace agreements and came back and broke the peace agreement the same day. That doesn't mean that the negotiation did not take place.
so which means there was
Negotiation
no
takes place.
agreement met then. There
okay,
was no
yeah,
agreement met.
No,
yeah.
that's not what it even means. That's not even what it means.
No, but you
Young
could
man,
not listen.
people can reach Charles Taylor read several agreement and came by and say it's not Holy Bible and not God. That mean
Chief,
agreement was not
Chief,
reached? Agreement was reached.
the resolve that was tested and what we saw.
Hmm.
The resolve that was tested and what we saw. We
Yeah.
could see more. Because
No, let's be factual.
people would come
No.
from out of nowhere and say, if these people did it, they got away with it. And listen, and what hurts me, listen to those people on that interview you played,
I'm not
right?
even done yet. We got to continue with the interview.
Listen to those
We'll play.
people.
But what I'm saying is, in our conversation, we should at least be factual. Now we can insinuate, we can say this didn't happen, therefore this, but let's also put the facts on the table. That's all I'm saying. And the fact is that a dialogue took place. Two parties walk away agreeing. One party walk away overnight, decided not to abide by the agreement that was reached. That doesn't mean that a dialogue or negotiation did not take place. The
That's all.
second point I want to make is this. Let's talk about the issue of put the soldiers to work. Well, you said they were cleaning streets and whatever before. Great. That's what they should be
They were
doing, sir.
building your sidewalls
They
in
were
Monroe.
building
They
sour.
were doing
That
All
that.
is
right,
great.
so hold on. My mentor must have watched you say, which sour were they building from ERW to Single? Is there any sour from ERW to Single?
Yes. Probably he has not seen it. Yes. They were
Okay,
in the streets working. Go on the army website, you see those things there.
all right,
What are you talking about?
okay. From
But
ERW to Single,
but
the
the
sour
issue,
was
but
From
there.
the issue,
ELWA, the army were
yeah,
in the street building the sidewalks on ELWA Junction. I didn't say from ELWA. I said
Okay,
from
ERW,
ELWA Junction going towards Cinco.
Single. Okay, I'll be
They
there.
work
I'll
on
be
that
there in
stretch.
3 weeks. I'll look for all the sour. Go ahead,
Go in there. Go look.
but
go
the
ahead,
issue here, Mr. McGee, but the issue here, Mr. McGee, is not whether or not the soldiers were put to work and working or not working. The issue here is that soldiers' wives didn't come up to say why you're not putting our husbands to work. They said our
No. I'm not.
living conditions.
I did not. Don't even
Okay,
get me wrong. I did not say
no,
that
you
either.
raised it. No, and
My
the
comment
reason I'm
before.
saying, but let me
let him
Yeah,
finish.
no,
but
but young man, let me say something. Let me make a statement. We actually give you 20 minutes to speak. Gives us three
no,
minutes
you
at
didn't give me
least.
to the. He's not paying.
And the reason I'm saying this is this. You said put the soldiers to work. If you don't put them to work, these things will happen. I'm saying the demonstration by the soldiers' wives had nothing to do with whether or not the soldiers were working. The wives didn't come out and say, "You're not putting our soldiers to work, so we're going to demonstrate."
And you get
They
you
called for.
misconstruing my
May I?
point now.
If
That's
you
what I
No,
want to
okay,
clear.
go ahead.
I got you. Just
No,
wait.
you go ahead. Go
So,
ahead and have and dominate. You go then with
No,
your half a
I
dollar
want to. I'm only saying that
because
you
you're not going to
misconstruing my
allow
point
anybody to finish.
because there are two different
No, no,
arguments. What I
no.
was responding to was when Shelton
Mhm,
said, "What are they doing?"
mhm.
And I'm like that.
He's just
I
trying
was
to
like that.
clarify, Alfonso,
Yeah,
he
they
was
were
trying to clarify that the military, during the time he interviewed Prince Joseph, said that these people not even giving us the chance
Mhm,
to do more because we have competent people here, we have engineers, we
mhm.
have
exactly.
farmers, we have
That
people.
was my point. It was different from justifying why the
And I
protesting
get
or
that.
why like
No, no, and I get that, and I get that. But in terms of the actions by their wives, that those are two unrelated things at all. I just wanted us to make sure
But I
we
brought that up.
separate them. That is
You know,
two unrelated.
Alfonso, I
So you
brought
brought
that
it
up.
up, and it was good you brought it up. I
I
know
said,
you
well,
brought
I
it
mean,
up,
you so
and you
much.
brought it up within the context. I agree, Volcano, but you brought it up within the context of why would they be threatening? You brought it up in the context of the threat the woman made that if
Yeah,
the military is not at peace,
peace.
his country will not be at
I'll
peace.
be
So
at
you
peace.
said, why would she make that threat? What are they doing so
So
much?
much. Yeah.
It was the context. I remember that very well. It was the context within which you brought it up. It's not that whatever. So I understand that. But let's move on.
Well, look, guys. Let me just contribute briefly. The only problem that I have with what happened on that day was the resignation of the Minister of Defense and Joseph Walker accepting his resignation. President Walker dropped the ball. Like I have said and will continue to say, if I were the president of the Republic of Liberia, after speaking to those people on Sunday and made clearly my position that hey, what you asking for, we will review, we will address it. But this man is my Minister of Defense. I will not ask him to resign. I will not terminate him because what the president did on Monday just set the wrong precedent. Anybody can come from EOBC tomorrow and they say, oh, that Moses sent it. Oh, yeah, that Moses sent it. Then nobody will be allowed to
No,
enter
no,
the
no, no, no.
compound
They're
yet.
using Fagon.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm just being hypothetically.
yes, say
Oh yeah,
something.
that
No, no, no.
Fagon. So
That
that
Fagon
Fagon,
right now.
nobody will be allowed to enter the fence here. And then the president will say, Fagon, well,
We
unfortunately,
did a
I
PO
can't leave
here,
you there.
so
When that happens, it's going to spread across the country. That would make the country ungovernable. Someone has to be in charge. Like I said, if you have your 10-year-old throwing all tantrums, you have to demonstrate that you are the dad, you are the mom, you are in control. You respect your kid, you love your kid, but you're not going to set a precedent that whenever he or she wants his or her way, they'll come and start flipping tables. Then say, okay, let's go to McDonald's. That's what the ladies did. The president dropped the ball on that. So, Cyrus, I agree with you. You know,
and that was my only point. Love. That's why I started by condemning their action, and we
Well,
hope that we can learn from this, especially with the fact that the president already commissioned an investigation. In my mind, I think the defense minister were held on until that investigation report was out. Even if he wanted to resign as the president, the OPPO can say you can say no to the president. The president told him, "Man, I'm not accepting your resignation." I know that General Johnson will not have gone further with that, but it is what it is. We just have to see that the right thing come up, and just what you are saying, there are reports that there was a meeting
We're losing you here, Cyrus. We're losing your audio. We lost your audio. I think he got kicked out. But anyway, gentlemen, sometimes the perspectives are good, and thank you, Alfonso, for addressing that and check facting the situation here. But let's go back to the tape because I felt somehow.
Sorry, Volcano. I know you saw you will bring it up later, but while Cyrus is probably still hanging on, I wanted you to bring the comment by Mr. McCready. I think that's
Yeah, but
important.
Cyrus gone. He's gone.
Okay. But
Yeah,
McCready
yeah,
addressed the
yeah,
issue of sidewalk.
yeah. But I know, my man. No sidewalk over there.
Yeah.
The sidewalk all broken up. Yeah, I don't know how much sidewalk they're building. But let's go back quick to this other lady.
created a situation that embarrassed the entire country. Many persons said your husbands sent you on that mission because the law said they cannot protest while they are enlisted. Is that true?
Yes, that is true. We cannot rule it out though. And we did what we did because we never wanted to cause mutiny. And we really want to disturb the peace. And so we did. It was not intentional, but we were helpless women that needed justice. We want to say sorry for those pregnant women, those sick people that needed treatment at that time, and there was roadblock. We are human. We fed it. We was going through that pain, but we just have to be strong to do what we did. We want to apologize for those that lost the flight. We say we are sorry. As an Army Wife Association of Liberia, we come as a team with all of the heads from various barracks. We got Lufa, we got Grand Cheetah barracks, we got EBK barracks, we got Coast Guard barracks, we got Camp Sutsman, we got Camp Ware, and all of the Grand Cheetah and all of the Smenotes, and you just name it.
Your action, Mark,
Let me
the
end.
loss, the loss of lives.
Let me end. We all here represented to say we are very, very sorry for what we did. With our hands in the air to tell you people how guilty we are. We say sorry, we say sorry. And we want to say thanks to our president. He's a man of wisdom. I want to say thank.
Let's stop there. We are guilty. We didn't want it to be mutiny, but we did it anyhow on behalf of our husbands. We are guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't want to do it, but we did it on behalf of our husband because we knew it would be mutiny.
Yeah, but
But
we
we
are
are
guilty.
guilty. Gentlemen, let's talk about this. And Moses, you're right. You're right. That's why I was joking on our last production that Prince C. Johnson, why can't yell the man resigned from women them cooking pan butter? Because
Look,
why
Volcano,
should he resign in the
I
first
beg you,
place?
my brother. That resignation was, was coerced.
Who
I
coerced?
mean, uh, obviously the president asked the man to resign. That would be my insinuation.
Okay, okay.
You know, yeah, it's like the country there was tension, and somebody told him that, hey, you know what, to resolve this, let the general resign, and say, General Johnson, you will save the day by just, I don't want to terminate you, but let me have your resignation. That man was coerced.
Okay.
Why you think so, Moses?
I mean,
I
I,
don't
I
think
just
he was.
explained that. I
Well,
mean,
no, you
these things we see there in most workplaces. One of your
yeah, I
bosses
know
will
that.
walk to you, and if they notice that certain thing not going right, they will walk to you. They say, "Look, we love you. You are indeed a
Sure.
good
So let
worker,
me let me let me
but
let,
unfortunately, we
let me
can't keep
let me
you.
make
We don't want to terminate you. Can
So then
you?"
let's stop there. You're coming
all right.
quick, Alphonso.
Let me make my point. Yeah,
Okay, I just want to okay, make a point, then I will go
yeah.
back to
Go
my
ahead. Go ahead. Volcano. Yeah.
okay. So
I
Moses,
do not believe that. Yeah.
oh,
Go
you said
ahead,
go ahead,
Volcano.
and you say
Sorry.
you do not believe. Go ahead if you want to be straight up. You
You
want to
go.
speak?
I'll come later,
Okay.
Volcano. Go ahead.
Yeah, because the thing I wanted to say here, when Moses said he felt that it was coerced, if the president was emphatic on the Sunday or the day prior to the actual protest on Armed Forces Day, February 11th, on Monday, and he said, listen, I will look into your other demands, but I am not going to remove Prince C. Johnson. Then at what point did he then go to Prince C. Johnson? We need to do the homework here to see when Prince's resignation came in. Maybe maybe I don't know what day exactly did it come in on Armed Forces Day. Because at what point then the president will go back to Prince and call him overnight on Sunday and say, my man, the women are low like the zebra, but they will not cave in. Or
Okay.
did they go, to Monday and he saw the tension, then he demanded the resignation, or
Yeah.
Prince saw the tension and ordered his own uh, uh, demeanor
Solution.
for peace in the country, decided that Mr. President, I don't want to be the one for any bloodshed or anything to be on my head. Here's my letter of resignation. And the president,
Okay. Let me answer that. We all agree that the president met with those ladies and some officers of the airfield on Sunday. They left. The president was very emphatic. I, I listened to your concerns. We will do everything to resolve these problems. But your demand for Prince General Johnson to leave is not negotiable. We're not going to talk about that. He is my Minister of Defense. He wakes up in the morning on Monday, the entire Monrovia is barricaded. People outside Monrovia, places outside Monrovia, barricaded as well. He talked to people of his inner cycle. I'm just surmising, and think that's what any leader will do. He talked to his people. Hey, what's the situation with these people? And they all gave him different briefings. He talked to his national security advisor. They all advised him on what to do. And he said, "Well, you know what? Uh, given the current situation, we don't want this to escalate. I know there will be a wrong precedent to set. I said I wasn't going to do that, but if we don't do this, and people telling him, if you don't do this, this is going to escalate. There will be a bigger problem." He calls General Johnson, "Look, Johnson, this is not what I want to do, but help us save this situation. Kind of give me your resignation." I'm surmising.
Okay.
I'm being hypothetical here.
Okay.
Okay.
And let you hear from Alphonso.
I'm just
Okay.
speaking from the standpoint as in a leader. Yes.
All right. Let you hear from Alphonso quick.
I think Volcano, you hit it right on the head. The sequence, yes, we all know that there are times when leaders ask subordinates to resign because they don't want to fire them. But the sequence of events here do not suggest that. Sunday, the president meets with the woman, agrees to pay them to address the education of their children concerned, but refuses to fire Mr. Johnson. The connection then that in the night on Sunday he will call Johnson. On Monday when he see the woman in the street, then he will pick up phone and call Johnson and say, "Oh, now you have to resign because the women are in the street." I can't see that connection. I don't see that connection at all. What I believe happened here is that Mr. Johnson, seeing the disruption, General Johnson, seeing the disruption, decided to say, "I can't continue to hold on because as defense minister, I will even be supervising the military. This is embarrassing to me that the president is trying to put his neck on the chopping board to say he will protect me, he won't fire me, and this thing blows up like this. So I'd rather go." That's how I think that's the rational sequence of things in my view. I don't see how Boaka would tell the woman, "I will not fire the man, he's my," and then in the next.
And honestly, and I sided with you on this, Alfonso, because Prince C. Johnson has been with the military since its formation, meaning
Yes.
the revamp. He's
Yes.
held he's held some of the highest positions,
Mhm.
and he's retired as a general. He may have wanted to go in his private life. I'm sure he can come to America. He can join the United Nations, go on peacekeeping mission. He's acclaimed enough to get something better than being the defense minister of the country. But he's doing it from the context of there's a new dispensation, and all of us can be a part to contribute. But then with these people and the way they were carrying on, he decided that, listen, man, I got so much other things to think about than to come here and settle for this. So let me just resign in the name of peace so that they can't go on tomorrow to say why the president was stubborn about if something blows out of proportion. And I'm siding with you on that. I don't think the president was coerced. I think it's Prince C. Johnson who felt the need to just harmonize the situation because there has been a good semblance of peace, a good amount of peace, transitioning from Elling's 12 years to we are 6 years, and now to Boyka then in the infancy of his leadership within weeks. All of these things are happening. And so it was concerning. And Prince being there, he's not anxious for job like the other men that pulling on the paper. Why you appoint me here? Prince said, listen, I've been here, man. I've done that. It's not worth it. and let me let go. I think that
Now,
I think I think
let me
that's the position.
let me say this, guys.
But you got 1 minute. You can spend time. We got to go back.
Yeah, yeah. 1 minute, right?
Yeah.
The 1 minute I have is that look, General Johnson did not resign prior to talking to the president. He talked to the president. They had a conversation. They took a critical review of the security situation in the country. The president has the power to appoint at will and dismiss at will. Had that resignation not been requested, the president would have told General Johnson that, hey, Johnson, I know, I understand your concern. You are indeed a true nationalist. I respect you for what you stand for. But General Johnson, I appointed you. I want you to remain as Minister of Defense. My decision is irreversible. I'm not going to take that resignation.
But
Johnson would have
Moses,
been Minister of Defense today.
Joseph Boakai is not a man of military mind.
Oh
Joseph
no, I
Boakai,
mean I'm just speaking. I'm
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
speaking,
yeah.
like
I,
anybody.
listen. I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying here is that Joseph Boakai is not a man of military mind. Joseph Boakai is not a man. It must be my way or no way. Joseph
But
Boakai.
now he has set a wrong precedent.
But forget about president here. Forget about president. I'm sure there were consultations. I'm sure his
That's what I
advisors and
said.
all of that. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think the ultimate decision came from Prince C. Johnson, and I'm siding with Alfonso on this. I'm
Johnson did not make that decision individually. No.
okay. All right, but let me see. Calibu wants to call the show.
Yeah,
Calibu, go
let me
ahead.
call him.
Calibu Gonglo, go ahead. Call 404-272-2808. 404-272-2808. Let me post
At
the
least
number.
the election is over now. Karabu can
404
come in.
404-272-2808.
Well,
The
you
road
know,
CDC operation is over.
Just quickly
and
put the number there. So yeah, you can
as we
call
wait for
Calibu. We'll bring you on.
as we wait for Mr. Gonglo to call in, I just wanted to say that what Moses is saying is speculation. So
Of course,
it's
what you
just,
guys are seeing too is
it's just
speculation.
assuming.
I
It's
agree.
just assuming.
Everybody is speculating.
Agreed.
Yeah,
But
we all are speculating.
I think in our speculations, it sounds better. It
Oh,
feels
that mind is not good, right?
better. Right, Fonso? It feels better.
Absolutely. Moses said the old man forced Prince Johnson to resign. But mind you, Moses,
Okay, Gonglo is calling.
okay.
Let's get Gonglo on the line. Mr. Gonglo, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes,
All
I
right.
do hear you.
Yeah, good. I know you're following
Yeah,
the conversation. What is it you
yeah.
want to weigh in on?
Oh yes, I just want to weigh in on um the the resignation of the defense minister, Prince T. Johnson. I listened to Alfonso very well. I think Alfonso, this is part of the propaganda machinery of the government to mislead the public. For full disclosure, uh, I'm an extended family member of Prince T. Johnson, so I'd like to be clear on that. We come from we come from a neighboring village and we have a relationship, okay? From my family sources and sources within uh, the Bellway Monrovia, here is what I got. This is a trend, a pay-by trend that started. Brownie Samoka, loss of the senatorial seat. This is part of the punishment that is going on now. When General Zianga, retired Generals Zianga and Prince Johnson, along with Dagonti George, testified during the trial of Brownie Samoka, they testified on the oath. They said the truth as they knew it. That case went on and Brownie Samoka lost. Brownie Samoka and the Unity Party, and by extension, the Boaka family or maybe the Kisi Kingdom, hold these three persons responsible for Brownie Samoka mystery. So my information is that it was clear, it was planned, it was not by mistake. that we have to get Prince Johnson and Degonte George out of the military. How do you do it? Okay, you can't just move in and retire them. You have to retire them from the military, bring them to the Ministry of National Defense. They are now civilian, then go after them. This whole thing about the military wives demonstration, let's look at the claims they made. They talk about having 10 bedroom, 1 bedroom, right?
Mhm.
The general did not build the military. That military was built under President Barker and Ellen Johnson Sadi administration. They constructed it. They knew that they were putting 1 bedroom there for servicemen. They talk about electricity. Electricity is an issue that is even ducking the 22 days old Barker administration now. So it has nothing to do with the chief of staff. He has no control over it. Every single issue they raise, that issue they got to do with central government. It has nothing to do with the chief of staff. Okay? This young man fought very hard, even with Troy. Troy, the finance minister, and Prince Johnson went back and forth on this publicly. Even for military servicemen who returned from, I believe, Mali on a peacekeeping mission, there were issues with it. He is a victim of the grudge that the Unity Party and the Barker family, along with the Samuka, have against these 3 commission officers. Now they got them out of the military, and let's see what happens. Because these guys are very young and they're professional, yes.
Well, let's stop there quick. You mentioned Geraldine, and Geraldine has been appointed acting defense minister in the meantime.
But she's out of the military. She's a retired officer now.
Yeah, but they've served the time. and
She
were
was
retired,
elevated.
right?
You know how old is that lady?
But it doesn't matter. Do you
It
know how many,
matters.
No.
It matters.
you know how many
You
you know how many young retired soldiers? I mean, if you're supposed to be in the army, I was in Ghana. There are soldiers who are young. They do the 7 years and they be done with military. They don't have to be in the military because they're young. They have a tenure, the time at that time.
It's a tenure.
I think the critical point you're missing here is
But
Liberia is not Ghana. Liberia is building the military.
yeah,
Liberia is building the military. And that military.
Prince Johnson has been in the military since his inception, the renewed inception, right? So that's a long time, more than 20 years or counting. And so this man should retire. He should retire. And we're talking about new breed, right? So I don't see that to be a construct to have gotten him out of the military, then bring him to a civilian status, then appoint him as defense minister, then turn around and belittle him and take him out of the military because of Brownie Samokai. I don't know how.
That's what I will say to you.
Okay.
There's one good thing about Liberia. Liberia is a very small country. Okay. In less than before the end of this year, all these facts, the truth about what happened behind will come. Now Moses says, I'll listen to Moses. If President Boyka wanted
can you just hold 1 second? Let me see this call.
Yeah, sure.
I'll come right back to you. This is a call. Hello.
Hello, my brother. I want to take part on the show. My name is Cole.
Cole, just hang on. I'll come back to you after Kelabu, okay?
Okay.
Just stay there. We'll come back to you. Is it Gonglo?
Yes.
Continue quick. You got about 30 seconds.
Okay, there. Let me just close on that.
And
If
in those
President
30
Boyka wanted
seconds, can you please talk about
retired General Johnson to remain as defense minister, he would have remained. Okay? Because he would have just solved the problems that the women wanted. But I know he could not solve the 1 bedroom problem because it's a fixed problem. You can't, say, build new military barracks. Okay? So you can't solve that one. Not even any government can solve unless you build new military barracks. So all the issues they listed, in fact, I understand Vice President Kun was at the verge of resolving the problem. They say, hey, go out, go to Ghana and see this person, go to Nigeria now. Because that's what the plan.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me go to the next caller. Alphonso, you just make your point later. Let me just go to the next caller. The lady from Iowa, is it Iowa?
Yeah.
Okay, you said Cole, right?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, make your point. You're following the show.
Okay. Thank you. The issue room for letting me to leave my point. So my brother I just called. General Johnson is our kinsman, and like he said, regardless of a relationship with him, we're looking at Liberia as a country. On the kind of issue, let's stop being tribalistic. It was the right thing the president did. We got to save the state, and it was the right thing my brother and my kinsman did. One person cannot let that go. The army is a special group that you don't joke with. That program, we got so many programs to come. If it were canceled and they started that demonstration since, if they have found a solution, it will not escalate on Armed Forces Day. So let's stop tribalizing it. Let's stop it. Let's look at Liberia. Liberia is everyone in our country. Let's stop it. Thank you.
Thank you, Cole. Thank you, gentlemen. Yeah, we.
Yeah. Quickly, Alfonso, I know you wanted to come in. I agree with Cole. The sister will call. I beg to disagree with my friend and brother, Mr. Gonglo. What he reported tonight,
One
for
second.
me,
One
seems
second.
far fetched.
1 second. Let me put this call
Sure.
in queue quick.
Yeah.
Hello, Carter.
Yeah, I mean, Volcano is me for more Livingston calling.
Can you hold on quick? Let Moses make his quick point before he lost his trend. I'll
Yeah.
come back to you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So quickly, what I was saying, I think it is far fetched, like the both of you said. I think it is incomprehensible that President Boaka will tell General Johnson, say, look, we want you to serve as Minister of Defense. At the same time, they had this quote unquote, plan that they're going to mobilize people to come to protest against him. At the end of the day, he tells him, say, resign.
Yeah.
I think that is just too far fetched. Maybe whatever the family connection is, but the data is just not adding up.
Okay. Let's go to the
It's not
call.
adding up. Yeah,
Look,
Alfonso.
make your point quick.
Yeah, I mean, real quick. Look, I mean, for me, I believe the president did the right decision, or that was the right decision he made. Again, I know Cannibal Bongo from day one, he doesn't like President Waka, he always call the man travelers. I understand. But if he coming up on show like this to make a statement like that, it should be factual. He's speaking like he was in the room when they were making a decision, or he was on the phone when they were making a decision. How will you say the president should have refused for General Prince C. Johnson to resign if the man who choose to resign, if I don't want to work for you, I want to resign, will you force me to work? No. For the sake of peace, he resigned. And we should commend the man. I mean, he served for 18 years in the military. All right. There are other places the president can put him. It doesn't have to be the defense minister. They put on one hand. The Pope Petty said, well, all the other situations we know, but we don't want Prince C. Johnson. And you still want the president to force it and keep the man. Look, let me factual here, man. The thing is not about travel. Don't try to bring running Samuka. It has nothing to do with that.
Thank you.
We have nothing to do with that. Thank you.
Yeah. And in fact, I don't think the president has a military advisor yet. So Prince could go into that role. National security advisor is Kofi Woods, but you also need a military advisor. Am I right, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For military advisor.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Prince, that would be a great role for him with all his advancement in the military, his formation and the time span. Except Brownie Samukai wants that job.
Well, you put in Brady in the team for.
I mean, and the only few military guys we have.
Brandon was introduced into it. So what I wanted Calebo, Mr. Gonglo, to address was the issue that he mentioned about government propaganda. Unfortunately, I didn't get that in, and he didn't have the time to address it. Suggesting that what I was saying that Prince Johnson resigned and Oman accepted his resignation was government propaganda. I hope that's not what it meant. But I agree with Moses. His claim that there was a whole concoction of a plan to say, let's remove these two, three people from the military, retire them, give them civilian positions. Then we'll tell AFL wives to get in the street and demonstrate, and then we'll use the demonstration to remove these people. I think, as Moses said, I'll borrow Moses's word, is very far fetched in my mind. Maybe the family people that are telling Mr. Donglo these stories, maybe one day, he'll be able to, come out and say more than he's saying right now. But I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's very far fetched that somehow somebody will go in the barracks, three, four barracks, because I heard there were people demonstrating as far away as Granger. So somebody, Brandon Samukai, then will go around the country and mobilize AFL women and say you'll demonstrate so we can remove Prince Johnson. And then later you'll do something else, or let's find something else so we
But,
can remove.
but let's
Eric.
practicalize this. Let's
Yeah.
practicalize this quick.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say let's practicalize this, Brownie Samukai situation was not a new phenomenon. There were monies used and misappropriated. The monies for military retirement. Guys who monies, according to Brownie, Ellen gave him the go ahead to use the money, but for something else. So then he goes on trial, which of course it was not in secret. Even there were situations where Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, George Weah, who had just taken power, and Browning sat, and Weah said, we'll take it from there. What did Weah then do? They paid 400,000, I remembered. And then
Yeah, they pay 400,000
I
out
want
of
to
that
see.
amount. Yeah.
And when Browning won the seat in Lofana, they desperately
They
wanted
said, yeah,
those
they
of
went
Gala
after
to
the man.
take.
Yeah.
Then they went after the man and said, my man, we ain't paying no more money. You owe all the other money. You got to pay the money. Then when Browning provided his share of the money
They
after
said
the
no.
whole hearing, they said, no, everybody got to pay the money together.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
then what does Prince Johnson and the other two, Zanka and Geraldine, had to do? They had to testify because they were part of the military and they were part of the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Whatever they said could not be so damning, so destructive for Browning's character when we all knew that monies were used for the military but for the wrong purpose.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why the
Yeah,
whole
we agree with you, Volcano.
And
Yeah.
that's why I said let's put it in context. Let's go back to the historical event that led to the testimony of the three military people. Why would they want to gang up against Browning?
Yeah, what would be the motive? In fact, why would President Bouaka himself want
Know
to
all of
be
this
a
and,
part of something like
and
that?
appraise the
And
man. Yeah.
the math doesn't add up. You know.
But let's go back to the old man. I call him the old man.
People wives is
Thank you,
calling
Mr.
them.
President, that you use your wisdom to protect the peace and stability of Mama Liberia by listening to the voices of the soldiers and their wives. And
So this listen, I was when I was playing this stuff in the bathroom while I was getting myself ready for work. Because when I wake up,
You were getting angry.
yeah. and thank you for using wisdom to protect the peace and security for Mama Liberia.
Because they got away, my man. The people got away.
But the Baga did not file, rather accept the resignation of Prince Johnson.
Nothing was going to go on.
What they were going to do?
They were going to join the street.
Okay,
The people said a thing.
let's continue.
people will say it is political. No, our entity is not political entity. I feel sad when I hear our own Liberian people telling us that we wanted to achieve a self-interest or we wanted to achieve our goal.
Is he actually contradicting us?
We are all from various
But this woman, how educated is this woman? You wanted to achieve your goal.
It was self-interest.
It was self-aggrandizement. You didn't say, oh, you know what? We collectively going to mobilize nurses.
Yeah.
Let it be a woman thing. Female teachers.
You said military women, they said self-interest.
And let all the women come together and propagate a one accord message. Then you say, oh, they're making the thing political. Listen, let's continue.
We are not here to fight this government because this government is our government.
You
and
the last government, my sister?
the soldiers and wife remain neutral in politics. I want it to be clear to the Liberian people today.
But your action was politically driven, so you can't be neutral in
And they
politics.
fought the government.
And you're holding the government almost hostage. We'll come
Hey,
back.
Alfonso, they
We
didn't
want to
fight
say
the
thank you
government.
to you, Mr. President. We really not hit the retired General Johnson, but his action was forbidden, and there was no way the soldiers would work with him. So they sent us out there to do what we did. And what we did not even happen in EBK military barracks. Are you people all aware? It was national protest. So because of that, we know we are guilty to the entire Liberian people. That is why we are here. And one thing I want to tell the president today, Mr. President, I want you to address the area of corruption because Johnson have retired, but there's still check mark. There are things that need to be cleaned. We have to clean the mess, Mr. President. I want you to please use your humble office and use all of your people to see how best you can carry on a clear auditing. Yes, we regret the action. We regret our action. And one thing too, I want to also say something. You cannot ride a waiting horse to death. We just never went on the road immediately to start protest. We are all educated people here. We know our rights and we know the first procedure to follow before we run in the street for protest. We wrote our petition as our head said, Mr. Josephine Cole said. We wrote a petition. We carried it to the House. We carried it to the Senate. We took it to the President's office at home. We did all those things that needed to be done. But when we turned our back, brother, the man was nominated. Meaning, somebody took our petition, did not deliver it to the president because that president had sat way on Sunday. He's a man of wisdom. I believe when he was going to see that petition, he was never going to carry on that nomination. So I don't want to hold the president responsible for our action, but I want to say thank you to you, Mr. President, because we sat with you Sunday and then we saw changes. We want to say thank you.
Okay,
And
so
in this public manner, I
yeah,
want to say something.
yeah.
Liberian, we know that we cannot really talk for our rights and somewhere who wants to wish on or I'm Mr. Stereo Red Walker in a public manner and not in line with my colleagues. We are going to put our life on the line, make it known to the public that should in case anything goes wrong with our life or our children, our husbands, our family, if there shall be wish hunt tomorrow, then please look after General Johnson.
Okay, quickly, the president on last evening.
All right, let's stop there. We'll come back if necessary. We'll capture some of the key things here, gentlemen. Let's start from the end. Our lives on the line. Anything happens to us. Oh, you didn't know before you jump in the street and cooking pambara and Kasawali, Alfonso?
I think that now that the situation is calm, they were removed from the street.
Having a sober reflection now.
Yes, time for. Well, I'm glad that the president set up a committee, and I hope the president will take the necessary required action when the committee submits its report. What I would insist on is that the president takes action. One thing I heard from what that woman said is that their husbands sent them in the streets.
Yeah, she said it.
The husbands they didn't want to go, so they sent the woman in the streets. So I hope some of those soldiers are held
The
accountable.
mutiny.
They are held accountable. They might have violated the UCMJ, the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So I hope the committee recommends that some of them be held accountable and investigated for actually causing the disruption that they caused. They understood very well that if they themselves had done it, they would have been held accountable, so they used proxies, which is equally wrong, which is equally a violation of the law. If you want to shoot somebody, but you go pay another person to shoot the person, you are also guilty of of murder. So I hope they are held accountable. I wouldn't have insisted that President Barker say, "Oh Johnson, you resign, but you're not going anywhere." No, that wouldn't have been my approach. But my approach will be that President Barker must insist on holding people accountable, including some of those women, because what they did was also a violation of the law. They disrupted freedom of movement of a lot of people. They disrupted the movement of goods and services, which could be considered as an economic maybe not an economic crime, but close to being an economic crime, because they paralyzed the country, they paralyzed the city. People who were carrying their market to sell that day couldn't go to sell. People couldn't go to church, children couldn't go to school. I saw in the demonstration, I saw a guy, I believe a taxi driver, who came to the place and he couldn't go through. And he was so angry, jumped out of the car and said he was going to start stoning them because they were blocking his way and his ability to accomplish his daily bread. So I think I hope action is taken at that level.
Moses.
Yeah, the same thing I was talking about earlier, that the president said the wrong president. You heard a woman right, Volcano? She said now General Johnson has gone. Mr. President, we want you to do an audit. Asking for another thing again. So if the president doesn't do an audit of the military tomorrow, they're coming right back in the street. So, oh, we want audit now. General Johnson is out of the picture. So you see, that's why you don't reinforce negative behavior. It's not bad to call for an audit. It's not bad to audit the military. But the wives of the military should not be telling the president of the Republic of Liberia what to do. The president is not answerable to them.
He is, though.
Yeah.
He is. He is. He's answerable to every citizen.
I mean, no, when I say answerable, in a sense that are giving him directive. They gave him the first directive. He fell for it. That emboldened them. They said, oh, we can ask for more. She said, now General Johnson is out of the way. Mr. President, we want an audit now. So what if the audit doesn't come tomorrow? What will we see? The women will be right back in the street.
So when we look at the situation here as we wound up, because we're 2 hours now, we're going to close on this. We agree here that some of these things should not be given too much yes to. It is good that you can sit with people who are aggrieved, come to some form of collective agreement, and hold those people accountable. What President Boaka could have done after they met, and if it was very emphatic that all other things will be reviewed, but I'm not going to let go of my defense minister, then once they got in the street, it was important to reconvene. Maybe pull the military hierarchy back and say, I'm summoning you guys. Be specific with them. Because at the end of the day, they have to show up. If they don't show up, then what they call that? Treason, right? Because it's like, it almost to that level.
Yeah, well, if the president gives a directive, because he being the chief of, he being the how you call it, the commander-in-chief gives a directive.
So,
yeah.
It's almost to the height of treason.
If the president orders you to do something and you refuse, then you are refusing to obey order.
Yeah, we're refusing to obey order. Yeah.
So
and that comes with punishment.
So the point I was trying to make here is that once he summoned them and say, hey, the women should move out of the street now, because they have they have declared that you are in the know.
Yeah.
And I gave you the next 2 hours
to get it off.
Get them out of the street. Because in the first place, they shouldn't be in the street. Otherwise, we will move on them with whatever. You have seen things will change.
Of course.
What do you think? That's my thought.
You're absolutely right. I agree with you.
He could have done that. I think the approach he took was also good, but at the same time, I think to address the concern that somehow instead of our presidents, people need to be held accountable. Sometimes you don't strike at what this is saying, fight fire with fire at that very moment if you know everybody in the house is going to burn and die. And you just do it just because you want to stand your ground. Sometimes you let it, you put the fire off, then you hold the people who put the house on fire accountable. So I hope the president holds everybody involved accountable, including some of those women who are seen on camera dis- causing disruption,
Yeah.
so that it's not repeated. Now, their call for audit, it's understandable. I believe what they're saying here is that, because let's remember, gentlemen, General Prince Johnson was chief of staff of the armed forces of Liberia for several years. I don't know how many years, but for several years. These people calling for audit and accountability, whoever believes that they believe that there were some benefits and stuff that were due them that were not being given to them, maybe that's what they believe. But beyond that, President Bouakai himself has said that every institution, agency of government will be audited. He's even before this woman came out to call for audit, he himself said it. So I don't think the call for an audit is a big deal. I think audit should actually take place. I think every agency of government should be audited.
Moses, Alfonso, do you want Moses? We can't stay here again. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
Yeah,
let's
yeah, yeah.
go.
No, that's it, man.
Yeah.
Myself, I gotta run to
Do you
go
want?
pick up
Do you
my
want to do?
daughter.
Do you
So,
want to do memory lane? Do you have it there?
okay, let me go to it. I think I have it here.
Sorry,
Let
I
me
was going
do
to
it.
take the money.
Yeah, I think I have it here. Let me see. So he has the last one he sent is, "Who are you, a warrior or a soldier?"
Yeah, so you can do that.
Okay. Memory Lane by Dr. A. Manasumo. Title: Who are you, a warrior or a soldier? Y'all remember this. A soldier fights for the one who orders him. A warrior fights for those who depends on him. Recently, as usual, I sat quietly and listened to one of Liberia's thought-provoking shows, The Issues Room. It was amazing and indeed an eye-opener when the anchor of the show asked these questions, which I share with you. Does Liberia need a rescue? Is rescue big enough for Liberia's problem solution? Or has Liberia drained so low that she needs to be rescued? These questions all come to who we are as Liberians at Toronto. Democracy is good, but it is a Western form of governance. It must be blended with the good African governance capped with respect for elders, women, and institutions. Instead, we Liberians see democracy as an enemy, loyalty fight. A lost people or a lost nation? Where are our values? From 1847 to 2023 equals 176 years of independence. An age no nation in Africa can compare to. As the oldest on the continent, we Liberians fight the biggest, and we are listed the lowest. We've turned Liberia into a prey. 176 years old is an absolute value of pride according to mathematics. So does Liberia need a rescue mission? Where is our absolute value? In my recollection, to recuse means to bring someone or perhaps a nation out of danger. To rescue, sorry, to bring someone out of danger, attack and harm, and to deliver or save. Is that how bad Africa's oldest republic had gotten to? A prey? Let's go memory lane. In 1930, Haile Selassie became Emperor of Ethiopia, but then Liberia was 83 years old. In his address to the people of Ethiopia, he said, and I quote, "I've come to tell you that until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war." The Liberia replaced race, superiority, and inferiority with tribalism, impunity, and corruption. In 1971, William Richard Tolbert Jr. became president of Liberia. By then, Liberia was 124 years old. In his address to the people of Liberia, he said, and I quote, "I will build thee a great nation. I will raise thee from mat to mattress. and gave thee a green revolution to self-sufficiency, total involvement for higher heights. In 1980, Samuel Canyon Doe became head of state of Liberia. By then, Liberia was 133 years old. In his address to the Liberian people, he said, and I quote, "Under my command, the People's Redemption Council had overthrown the government of the True Party of Liberia. However, my government of the People's Redemption Council will continue the policies of President William Richard Talbot to include the Green Revolution policy." Unquote. These are just three of the many foundations our today's leaders should have inherited and implemented, but they failed to build upon. They failed to the point that they have to be rescued. We are yet to see Westerners name their children African names, or see them wear a vice shirt or a Nigerian Igbo suit, or go to an African restaurant. But we Africans do all the above plus more. But how can we make the Westerners to respect our culture and we the culturists continue to denigrate and defame our self-identities? Until there is a balance, there will always be war. Until philosophical diversity is respected amongst us Liberians, there will always be war. Warlords are not born, they are made. They are made by the politicians. Then, after the damage is done, the very politicians will want to see them sent to war crimes court. The politicians and the warlords are like soldiers versus us, the civilians who fight as warriors. But I have been happy lately. So happy when the Liberian people elected Joseph Newman Boakai as president. President Boakai is a warrior and a product of the then Green Revolution. So he should not just be a rescuer, but restorer. Can you take a walk with Joe? Just a closer walk with Joe. I'm a warrior. Who are you? Are you a warrior or a soldier? I come in peace. And again, that was Memory Lane by Dr. Emmanuel Smith.
Thank you so much for that good read. Good contribution here. I remember that line of Haile Selassie's speech is what Bob Marley used in his song War. If you remember the song, but those were the days, good old days. But gentlemen, what type of country is this? What type of country is this that a woman has already indicted the army, the military?
Their husbands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eh?
the husbands of the
Yeah.
wives.
She said, "Yeah, we know that we're going to be mutiny, so we decided to come in front of them and do the demonstration." What type of country is this?
What type of country is it where people open a commit or crime, then they turn around and say, "We sorry, it was not intentional."
And then they think that once they say sorry, then everything over. Just repair another topic.
They say, "We're sorry, President Baka. It was not intentional."
What type of country is this? The people sat down for weeks, they planned a demonstration, they bought pot, they bought beer, they came sit
Everything.
down
They
street.
say
Then
not
they say
intentional.
it's not our intention. We didn't mean it.
They have people transporting their honor darkness from one place to another. And they still say that mistake.
A mistake, we're not intentional. Ah, wow.
But what type of country is this that a color cause and just make this kind of far-fetched assumption here?
And rub it on President Baka.
And Brother Summertime.
And Brother Summertime.
The Baga family and the Kisi people. Yeah.
He said,
But what type of country
they
also
want to see
that the color family woman secondly stand there? You have to call and say no, they won't find
He said, "My
inside."
brother, I beg you, I didn't don't try business." Well, anyway, it's understandable because Edith and Mr. Gonglo campaign strongly against Omer Baka.
God. What type of country is this, Flomo Livingstone? That Yeka Koluba don't know the difference between private jet and military jet. But he every when people jump on jet, they're private.
You're talking about private jet. Look, I represented the Yaga Koduba was on spoon yesterday evening. He said, "Oh, my Baka went to Ghana to strike a D." He said, "I got a
Direct you.
record." Allah, Yaga
Yeah, he
Koduba
said
is
he
a
said the man,
problem, my
he
man.
said the man flew private jet to go to Ghana to strike a deal. And the man told his son Joe
They
Baga,
said, "Man, what are you talking about?" He said, "I'm telling you, if
And he know
if
the
if
deal.
it is not true, I should resign my position."
then when they called him, they called him, he said, "Man, I can be on the same platform if I go." Who he may give it?
He said, he said, "I would never
That
sit
might
on the same platform."
that might
So I
gotta
wonder
run.
how.
I gotta run.
Go,
Take care of.
go.
I got.
Yeah, you good. You good.
Yeah. So forget it.
All
I
right.
wonder
Thank you.
how Honorable Koluba going to do when Fago is now appointed Director General LBS.
Oh yeah, you can go. You can go to EFBC. What type of country is this, Shaggy McCaffrey? Hashtag that our security had no clue about the protest.
Yeah.
What type of security is this?
Yeah, what type of country is this?
Minnesota,
What type
what
of
type of
country is
country is
this, my
this?
man? On
The
the
protest,
EPS, my man, you got
hold on,
500 men, oh.
hold on. What type of country is this when the protesters who haven't been paid for months can buy beer and bags of rice
Yeah, to
and,
sit
go,
on the street.
and sit on the street and cook? They say they got money, oh, but the protesters
Well,
is cooking.
they're drinking beer at the same time playing music.
What type of country is this? He said, what type of country with the EPS? What happened?
I said, what type of country is there, my man? The EPS alone, they got 500 men.
The beneficiary shift.
One office, my man, they got about 20 persons.
What type of country is this, Shaggy McCaffrey? Hashtag that the people can have insurrection by admitting their husbands send them. But then at the end, they say we came in peace.
Yeah, what type of, what type of country is it? What type of
Shaggy
country
comes
is there when the whole country is in darkness, my man, including the national legislature, the seat of the national legislature, everything in darkness.
what type of country is this? You've been sleeping 10 people to one bedroom after 18 years that now you realize you need privacy, but you've been born in general
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
because
look,
I got just the power.
we hire you as a soldier. You go, you born 20 children, they show my baby house for you alone.
Yeah. Because actually, when they formed this new army, they were taking single guys.
Yeah, single guys, you know.
And then on the minute 10 they play to
Yeah,
family
of
value.
Campbell, you know, one man got 20 children, my man, then he say,
One barrel. Then at night,
Joseph Bagademo gave a 10-story, a 10-story building. But my man, we the one that made a children.
what type of country is this that people can miss their priorities? Eh? They don't even they can tell me the things that they came here for and say they demonstrated. That's something that new. That's something
Yeah,
that's
no, I
isolated.
wasn't thinking, my man.
The thing is generalized across the entire country. That's
Yeah,
the point we're making.
yeah.
You know?
An age-old problem, my brother.
Yeah, I like that. You've been
Yeah.
sleeping for 18 years in that same place. Then you know born 10 children. Then you say now the room small. You didn't know that room was small when you started. What type of
The,
country is this?
the other woman said,
You
when they
get,
want,
you
you know
get,
what the other lady said for Keller?
hold on
She
now.
said, in the
Hold on.
night when they want to operate, they don't call their children. When they call you, you don't wake up and they know the kids are sleeping.
But I'm beginning to keep the ear open. Until you talking there. One eye open. Oh. But yeah, let me finish with this guy. What type of country is this that you get his own lie can catch up with him? Thomas Kawaji, what type of country is this? Yeke said he will resign if proven wrong that JB took a private jet to Ghana.
To Ghana, yeah.
His JB flew on the Ghanaian military jet. Yeke get Kalope. What type of country is this? Shaggy
The
McCaffrey.
man resigned, but he gave it from the show.
That pool water running all over the Capitol building.
Yeah, my man.
Capitol building to hold your nose and pass.
What type of country is this, my man? The capital building, my man. They still got people towing PC barrel, my man.
water gallon. But he made it walking away with 50 G in a
Man, you wait down there for 1 month, man. They gotta go to the hospital for honey.
They gave it to poor boys and honey because man.
Oh, never, man.
You know that place a racket place. Wait, you don't have
Can you imagine Volcano, you take that thing from where?
from Slipway.
From Jonathan, my man. And an everyday operation. Oh.
Yeah, man.
The board was charging $10 per barrel.
And you know when people jam money, they can go to the man in the bathroom.
Of course, my man. Say, my man, let me get. I send a bottle back for my water.
No water. Oh, my water car. I will send 1 gallon to you. What type of country is this? That legislators are borrowing water from each other to flush the commode. What type of country
When
is
you
this?
got your guests in your office, my man, you got about 3 person. They say, "Oh, you want to use the restroom?" Then you panic. It's talking about all the people not bringing again.
Wait, you ain't do your thing before you can. You ain't know water in your building.
He said, "Honorable," he said, "Yeah."
Honorable, you got bathroom yet?
Yeah, honorable, you got bathroom. Then there's my sister, I don't know what to say. Oh.
No. He said, no. I said, come on from my front man from the reception.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah, go low in the bathroom there and see the water there. Oh,
He
she
said,
no
"Chief,
water here.
she that boy bringing water you."
Then you want to make news now. Then you will say, oh, but I mean, I get a man $100.
Yeah.
All the
Get
water,
me
he
on
no
and
water.
then bring on. He said, "Look, my man." Then he said, "Yeah, Chi, go to Honorable Snow office.
Yeah, if you see a snow got water there, let
You
him
see what he got. Let them just send me 1 gallon of water."
I can flush my commode. They got in that jokers, but what kind of trouble is this, my man? Hey, the poor people.
Well, then when they go poop now, that the whole gallon of water go you. Then the honorable man, my man. But my man, you got to call out the other people here. They waiting for you. Whatever country is this, my man? No, Jesus, my man. You sleeping at night, you sweating that belly goat.
My man, you talking about that heat. I can go to that heat, that war room. What type of country is this? You can call him and realize that he messed up, he blamed him on Fago. And then he ran away.
You get given from the show. Fago just touched the man toes, my man. The man said, "No, the man was against it on this issue."
He said that you the same man that brought Joe we had down, and he wasn't gonna bring the other government down.
Fago said, "No, honorable. Let me help you understand the difference between your working visit and a state visit." Fago analyze the thing for the man, my man. The man said, "No." He said, "No, CEO, that the man that brought you, we are down."
The man
was again, there was another issue.
The man used to laugh to Joe we are. Oh God.
I mean, I beg you, I forgot about. I won't cry.
Okay, the tears coming. I can't even see my own glasses again. I can run away from
you can say he man.
What they
I
thought
didn't know that you get in front of Fago.
Just pieces more. He said, I'm coming by. I want you see what he said? Yeah, but I can be under the same roof.
No. But then when I get you, but I just said Fago and said, "Look, Fago, now you get me on Spoon TV."
Yeah, just go there. Go there and go deal with him. But I said, start your job right now. Even though you go for confirmation.
He said, "Oh, gee," he said, "Yeah." And I mean, that honorable. He said, "Yeah." He said, "Just go touch your toast, bro." So Fagon wherever, man. Fagon said, honorable. You know, sometimes we need to help to educate. let me help honorable. You can go to understand the difference
between working
between
visits.
official visit and working visit. When the boss is analyzing the thing, you can say no. CEO.
He's a CEO.
Now they made a great job. We had to lose the election.
And then they get a lot too much. The minute was lying to we are. In fact, I can sit down in the same room where they're gonna man.
Man, I made myself no way.
Make it.
Right away, your man exit the show.
Spoon went behind camera and called. He said, "My man, you coming by?" He said, "My man, I'm coming by." You set me up. That boy won't feed me tonight.
He said, "Oh, it's ready, Papi was ready for me." He said, "Fago."
Oh God, have mercy on our country.
Right after the show, Fagon called the president. He said, "Mr. President," he said, "You can say you man." I just brushed out his
He ran away.
And he ran away. The president said, "Oh, for true." He said, "Oh, gee, I took care of that man."
I think he's coming back, Jenna. You go cool
He
down.
said, "Man, let him put him on you again. I will go for the second time."
Oh God. Oh yeah. I get there talking all over the place, my man.
Yeah.
But and I get talk after he left. He read a message. You want to talk to him, Fatima, right?
Yeah, Fatima. Oh yeah.
You guess it? What all that thing he did to the past, you'll not keep doing it. Everybody he put him on president, but you ran away. But we already got Fagon. Fagon will deal with you.
CEO said, "Mr. Fagon." Fagon said, "Yes." CEO, you know what? I just want to have the honorable to know the difference between state visit
Working visit.
and working visit.
But you know the funny part about it, right?
No.
The man kept saying it was a private jet that Boyka flew on.
Yeah, he kept saying it.
So then he had a guts to give the flight number there and say Ghana military. So he told himself. So I get Ghana military flight be
private jet. So he thought you were talking to idiots, you know, all the info you were passing on the board and disputed everything. Then he became quiet. Then Fagon came in. Fagon said, "Honorable, let me provide a little bit of education for you." He said, "There's a difference between working visit and a state visit. The working visit, you can go and let you go visit a man. He can see you or he can see you. You will not have that pump and packet train." When the board did the analysis right away, you can say, CEO, you see the Fagon man? That they're the one that made John we had to lose the they made Masaki sit on the Z show.
Oh God, thank you, Moses, man. Listen.
Jesus.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
Great show, my man. But hey, it was a pleasure being here, my man.
Yeah, always good to see you.
This help out the distress, right?
Those of you who don't understand the platform here, this segment is our humorous segment where we look at some of the trending issues in the country. That is laughable because it's only common in our country. Rarely common in our country that people would take thousands and thousands of dollars in their pockets every year, millions to put in the budget for themselves, and yet the facility, the bathrooms, they're still using buckets to flush them. Their sewage clogged to the point that the feces is all in the Capitol building yard. Only in Liberia that can happen. It is only in Liberia that we put people in this high position. I'm not sure if Yeke has even written a bill.
Oh no.
All day he put him up on people, right? I'm not sure if even Yeke knows how to write a bill. Because his letter he sent the last time he sent the letter did that before the letter was gone. So I don't even know. The letter he sent wrote the
the mail posted the letter.
No, it was yeah, posted that. Yeah, it was posted. That's another thing. So Yeke, what are
The day
you?
you put the letter,
Yeah.
it was on Sunday.
Yeah.
and he released the letter on a Friday.
On a Friday,
How do you do that? I can't call nobody.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so when we laugh about some of these things, we're laughing because yes, only in our country that stuff like this can happen. And yet we have not awakened to the reality of time. And some of you, our viewers here, you back these kinds of wrong. You act like these things they're common and we must accept it. And that is why the issues room is the alternative social media platform. We come here to discuss the things that matter, but in the same token, those things that are laughable, we'll laugh about it and we'll joke ourselves. We need to joke ourselves sometime to bring the reality, to what we do. But Moses, great show. You look tired from the laughter. It was good.
I thought you can come for us there.
I mean, I didn't think Yaga can come. One bring Yaga said the day Yaga entered the issue room, he was suffer.
You can give it.
I think he walked out in the issue room. Right.
You know, we tell them never get her. We say,
Right,
Yeke, we just challenge you about the law you introduce.
What type of country is this when Yaga has not declared his assets to work at the Capitol building where there is no running water?
Yeah, all about Daniel.
Yeah.
And yet the man has not declared assets, oh.
He talking plenty.
Yeah. I don't know what you can call about.
Oh, see, Yeke, we were talking about last week, right? About the question that generally asking.
Yeah, so yeah, sit down. He said, my man, I understand it.
He said, all that thing he's saying, I don't understand. The English too big for me.
My man, slow down, slow down, slow down. He said, all that thing you talk. I don't understand nothing.
Logical vacuum or something. I don't know what a big ask.
Logical vacuum.
What a big
What are you talking about, my brother?
Oh God. All right, man.
Honorable Kuluba is the comedian of the year in the legislature. Yeah, thank you. Great show.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, my man. Enjoy your weekend. I know it's gonna be wet tomorrow. I got a funeral in Trenton, so I'll depending on the weather, and I'll be going there tomorrow morning by God's grace. Yeah.
Okay. I'll let you go and acknowledge.
Okay.
All right. Just before we go, I always like to do this. Just kind of give some regards to the folks who hang out here with us. It was a good show tonight. We like to acknowledge Thomas Awaji. Thank you so much, my brother, for your continued support and viewership. Flomo Livingstone, Shaggy McCaffey, Gabriel Daniels. Good to see you in the house tonight. Emmanuel Jackson, Manin Sumo, Emma Starley. Come back again. If this is new to you, come back. This is not your everyday platform, one-man show. This is the issues room. Come here and share your perspective with us, and we'd like to see you come back again. Liberia, also thank you for joining us here tonight. Shaki McCaffey, as usual, good to see you, my brother. Thank you. Breakable Power, it was good seeing you. Come back again. Joma Jala, thank you for coming through here tonight. And Jency Double, Fergie Monu, of course, our good friend. Thank you for joining us. Tony and Brooks, it was good seeing you here tonight again. Kawu Gloria Voka Moba, thank you for joining us. Abdullah Happy Boy Sise, Kelabo Gonglo, good to see you. Come back again, my brother. don't be a stranger. James Ma, thank you. Thank you to Mr. McCready. Mr. McCready was in the house. He stopped by tonight. It was good seeing you. John DK, is it Dakie Gonglo? John D. Gonglo. Let's just abbreviate the middle name. Thank you, Anthony Yamplu. Thank you for coming in and sharing your time with us. We appreciate it. Christopher Wesley, of course. Good to see you here tonight. Of course, Cyrus McGill. It was good seeing you, Joel. Thank you, Otello Dillon. Thank you for coming in. Excuse me here. So many folks here. Yeko U. Harris. It was good seeing you. Journalist Samuel Flomo Jr., who was following us from Banga City in Bon County, Liberia. Jema Cisco. Of course, you were in the house tonight. And all the rest of the folks who joined us here. Excuse me. Thanks to everyone. We will be here on Tuesday next week, God's willing. Have a good night and see you again. Thank you.